We live for it.
What's my definition of success?
It's time for football in front of a packed house under the lights.
When you told to just quit.
It's the traditions, triumphs, everything you love about ACC football. Come for it all. Watch live on ACCN and stream on the ESPN app.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Kinner Kev Show live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
Happy, what is today? Tuesday. I did not realize yesterday was a Monday. I have no clue why. I think it's because we work 7 days a week. So,
yeah, there you go.
That's exactly what it is. Excited for today's show. Look, I thought we were done with this Michigan saga.
Oh, no. We're just getting warmed up, baby.
Let me ask you right off the bat on this. And by the way, ESPN's Dan Murphy, he's going to join us coming up here in about 15 minutes. Are we piling on? Is this warranted? Is this warranted, I guess? Simple as that.
Yes. This is cheating. This isn't what the NFL guys on ESPN first started was. It wasn't stealing signs from across the field.
No, but we thought it was.
Yeah, it's not that, because if it was that, it's like, hey man, that's par for the course. It kind of is what it is. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like, those are okay things, quote unquote, to cheat about. To basically implement technology and scouting, which is clearly stated against the rules that you can't do, and you do it anyway, that's cheating. Cheating. And then, I don't know what to make of all these extra videos coming out about, the defensive coordinator not signaling in his coverage or their play until he gets the okay from the scout guy and everything like that. But I know that you're not supposed to do it, and you got busted. And yes, the NCAA is pounding hard because of Harbaugh and his antics and the cheeseburger and refusing to accept responsibility for what he did. So that's what's going to happen.
So a lot of this stuff, again, it's going to be a lot of the same talking points. So it's why I don't want to overdo it. But I feel like I thought we were done with it heading into the weekend. I thought some more would come out throughout the week, or some findings, or there's not enough there. But when you see the videos that come out and you see the laminated prints that they have on the side, now let's be clear, it's not as if we pay attention to what these coaches have on the sidelines at all times. Now we do. Is that common? Is that normal that you have these laminated sheets of hand signals that are what you've scouted from the opponent? I don't know if that's normal or not, but it definitely adds to the enhancement of all the hate that's going towards Michigan right now because of these allegations.
Right, no doubt about it. I will want to say this before we answer that. I still don't care. Because I expect Ohio State to beat them anyway.
Yep.
I mean, did this help them? Probably. But do I care? Am I going to be like, oh, no, that was our Big Ten championship? No, they won. Yeah, they cheated, but they won. So we as fans, and hopefully when Coach Day is asked about this and players are asked about this, they don't use this as a crutch and say, this is why we didn't win the Big Ten championship. This is why they beat us back-to-back years. I don't want to hear the players and the coaching staff being, woe is me, and this is why they did this, and this is how they got over on us. I don't want to hear that from the coaching staff or the players. And you know what? Honestly, I doubt that we hear that from the players and the coaching staff up there. Us as fans, we can, talk about it left and right and everything like that. Former players probably can talk about it, but I don't want the current team and the current coaching staff talking about it and saying, oh, that's why. Because guess what? Come November, we're going to have our opportunity to play. And guess what? They're probably going to be smart enough not to be cheating this time.
Yeah. And look, regardless of, so if you're a Michigan fan and you think everyone's piling on and it's just a witch hunt and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fan is short for fanatic. And obviously that's, kind of what that's the direction you're going in and all of this. Okay, that's fine. But let me ask you this. If the roles were reversed, if this was Ryan Day being investigated, if this was Ohio State being investigated, would we have, they say keep that same energy when it's
Yeah.
Now, you are one of the most consistent people I know when it comes to your takes. I'm bipolar as can be when it comes to my. I mean, if you think I'm bipolar in regular life, imagine what I am with my sports takes. I mean, you have to imagine. You guys know. Would you have that same energy if it was Ohio State in this same situation?
I would be super disappointed. I would be ashamed. Like, dude, we got to stoop to that level to win. Like, we don't have a top 5 recruiting class. We don't have the highest paid coaching staff. We got to stoop to these levels to win. And then imagine stooping to this level and still not winning the national championship. Imagine stooping to this level and losing to TCU in the semifinal. And so you don't even get the championship out of it. So I would be embarrassed if this was my favorite team. If this was the Pittsburgh Steelers, if this was Ohio State Buckeyes, I would be embarrassed that this was us. I don't understand how some Michigan fans feel about it. We only really have one Michigan fan that calls into the show. And like I said yesterday, he was up in arms on the day that I missed the show about, Harbaugh, what has he done? What has he done? You're right. What has he done? You're right. What has he done with all this extra information? He's beat us back-to-back years, but did he bring home the real hardware, the one that everybody is so desperate to get nowadays? So you stoop into this level, you got to win. It's almost like if you are a booster, if you're a booster for your favorite team out there and you're shoveling money at the program, you're quote unquote buying players left and right, and you don't have anything to show for it. You don't have victories to show for it. For instance, all the boosters down there at Texas A&M who paid Jimbo the higher salary in college football, then paid for the facilities and paid for the greatest recruiting class of all time. And now you're about to have to buy out his contract because he's obviously not getting it done down there. What do you have to show for it? So I'm giving you all this ammunition, all this money, and you still don't have anything to show for it. So this guy, this former military guy has scouted these teams illegally, and you still don't have anything to show for it. I would be highly embarrassed.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this. Not piling on, but again, it's continuing to react because that's what people. Kinner, you guys keep bringing this up. It's because there's more information that keeps coming
new
out.
information.
It's not as if we're just trying to rehash this to rehash it. I mean, there's more information, there's more video footage, and there's more stuff coming out that we knew would. And I don't think that we're done with the stuff that's coming out. And I don't think we're close to being done. And to be clear, last Friday, I slightly defended them. I said, I think it's weird to go down this route to do what they're being accused of, but I don't think it's that big a deal. I do believe all teams are involved in some kind of way of getting access to other teams' signs and all of this stuff. But this seems different. This seems premeditated. You literally hired somebody that has a special skill set that was designed to do what he did. And then to say for Harbaugh to come out and say, I had no idea. The video footage that came out today where they have the laminated play call sheet and it's all hand signals. It's not even like the graphs are like the football field with the plays on them. It's literally hand signals. It's hand signals with a couple words next to it. You can't zoom in that far to see. And then so when that happens, they were showing clips of the Michigan-Ohio State game last year, and the entire sideline is holding up the hand signals that are on this sheet. Now, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a different way, a different thing that they kind of concocted together that has nothing to do with this. Doubt it. There's just too many coincidences that I don't, I don't know if you watch that show NCIS. Gibbs doesn't believe in coincidences. I don't know. If there's one coincidence, fine, but there's just so many. Like the entire team holding up the hand signal from one end of the sideline to the other, all standing behind Harbaugh. You think Harbaugh's turning around saying, well, this is cute. Look at us all in unison holding up the number one. Well, across the field, an entire sideline of Buckeyes have another finger to hold up for you, Mr. Harbaugh, and your entire program. The bottom line is every time and all day I've just been getting irritated on social media. I have to just delete it, Kev. I need to.
I try to tell you, man.
As I get older, for my health, my mental health and everything, I got to get rid of social media because these guys win. But this isn't that big a deal. Everyone does it. You guys, if you're a Michigan fan with kids, I really highly doubt that you tell your kids, you know what, little buddy, I know all your friends at school are on the dope, but you know what? I'm against it. But because everyone else is doing it, I support you being on the dope too, little buddy. So go right on ahead because everyone else is doing. No, you don't actually believe that. Now I'm being a little dramatic here, but it's the same principle here. You sound ridiculous when you say, well, everyone else is doing it. We're not condoning that if they're doing exactly this, but let's keep in mind too, this isn't just sign stealing. You guys keep trying to water this down and say, we were just stealing, they're stealing signs. That's called scouting. I agree to a certain extent, but that's not what this was.
Right.
Sign stealing is what you put yourself in position to go after, but it's the stuff you did to set yourself up to go after those signs. That's the problem I have. This isn't telling your coordinator during the game, hey, in the first half, keep an eye on some of their hand signals and let's try to make some adjustments at halftime. Cool. That's scouting. That's making adjustments within the game. Not having some former Marine that specializes in this skill set,
Right.
that is buying tickets that just coincidentally have to be, I'm going to get 2 tickets on this side of the field, and I'm going to get 2 tickets on the other that are literally the same seats, just on the opposite ends of the field that perfectly face each sideline, that you just coincidentally, of all the tickets you've bought in the last 3 years, this is the first game you don't go to because of all the scandal and stuff that's come out. Doesn't make any sense to me. When they've gone through the footage, they found the people that were holding the phones, recording the entire thing. Like, come on, folks, you're trying too hard to water this down. And don't tell me it's not a big deal, because college coaches are the most detail-oriented people, which means that they prioritize every second of their day. So if they are taking seconds out of their day to come up with a game plan to either get this information or how to use the information, trust me, it matters. If it didn't matter, coaches wouldn't waste their time with it. And you can say, in fact, here's a clip. Deion Sanders had a very interesting take on this earlier today. I'm a big Deion fan. I'm not like most that are piling on Deion just because. Now, it's quieted down a bit as they've lost a few games. But Deion had an interesting take that I slightly disagree with. I'm curious your thoughts. Take a listen.
I mean, everyone's trying to get an edge. I mean, everyone's trying to get whatever edge they can. You could have someone's whole game plan. They could mail it to you. You still got to stop it. So in football, it's not as pronounced as baseball. If I know a curveball is coming, I got you. With football, I don't give a darn if you know a sweep is coming. You still got to stop it. Physically, it's a physical game. You got to stop it. So that's a little tough. I don't buy into a lot of that stuff that someone's stealing this, stealing that. I don't buy into a lot of that stuff. You still got to play the game. Back in our glory days with San Francisco as well as the Cowboys, you know darn well Emmitt Smith is getting the ball. You know darn well Mike Irvin is running the comeback. You know darn well Jay Novacek is going to do what he's going to do, and you couldn't stop it.
I agree. You have to stop it. And that's why in practice, a lot of times your defense knows what plays your offense is running. And, they say, hey, I know you know what's coming, but try to, let the play develop a little bit. You hear coaches say that all the time. Bottom line is, this is the difference, though. If you're a team like Colorado that doesn't have as much talent as, like, let's say, an Ohio State or Michigan, yes, they could, like, Deion's team can have Ohio State's playbook or Michigan's playbook, and they could have the entire, first couple series on that, map saying, hey, we're going to run this play at this time. This is who we're handing it off to. We're going to this gap, yada, yada. If you're not as talented, you still have to go out there and stop them, right? But when teams are dead even, that's where I have a problem with it. In Ohio State, Michigan, even. Elite teams, even. To me, that does give the competitive advantage. When both teams are even, it does give a legitimate competitive advantage to the team that is cheating in that situation. And I'm not going to do this whiny Ohio State thing and say that we only lost because of that. But to act like that didn't play a role in the outcomes of both of those games, I have a hard time believing that that's the case. So we'll see what happens. But your thoughts on Deion?
2 things on it. One, that's what I want my coach to say. That is exactly what I would prefer Coach Day say when he's asked these questions to the media. But behind closed doors, I want Coach Day going WWE wrestler, talking about how much they cheated, pumping the guys up, getting the coaching staff locked in and dialed in. But to the external, to the media, hey, man, we've got to go out there and execute. Whatever they're doing, that's on us. We're worried about us over here. They can have our playbook, yada, yada, yada. We're going to go ahead and continue to do our thing. That's the external. But inside the Woody, there's some cheating SOBs. That's the only way they were able to get us getting extra reps in. That's what I want. I want Coach to be just like Deion. Like, hey, man, they can know our plays, man. We just got to go out there and execute. You can say that on the exterior, but inside the locker room, I need full-fledged WWE. I need them saying they some dirty SOBs and all that type of stuff. But, I mean, yeah, he's right. But guess what? That's why they have a huddle, Deion. Hey, Coach Prime, you have multiple guys out there in different color shirts signaling in plays as well. So if it's not a big deal, then just go ahead and announce over the PA, hey, man, we're running 32 draw. Hey, we're running a dig to, our number one wide receiver. It's a secret because it obviously would help the other team. So that's the reality of the situation. Love the response to the media. I guarantee you he is not saying that to the coaching staff. He's telling, hey, man, we got to be buttoned up over here. We can't let nobody be stealing our stuff. 1,000,000%.
All right. So with all of that being said, I asked Kevin when we started, are we making too much of this? So now we're going to talk to ESPN's excuse me.
Hey, man.
We're going to talk to ESPN's Dan Murphy, who's going to join us coming up here on the other side of the break. ESPN's Dan Murphy. We'll talk with him about everything that's going on right now with this scandal surrounding that team up north. Are we just being a bunch of haters because we're a part of the rivalry that is Ohio State against that team up north? Or are we right in our feelings about this, that, hey, this is wrong, and that any team that does this is wrong? Let's talk about it. ESPN's Dan Murphy next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, mostly cloudy, 58 tonight, clouds and 73 Wednesday, and partly sunny and 75 Thursday. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that Ohio's Move Over law applies to more than just emergency vehicles? Drivers should move over one lane and slow down for any stopped vehicle with flashing lights. That includes emergency vehicles, construction crews, utility vehicles, and tow trucks. Moving over keeps roadside workers safe, and it's the law. Move over, slow down, pay attention, save a life. Learn more about Ohio's Move Over law at moveover.ohio.gov.
Hi, it's Keith Byers, Hall of Fame running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Nothing beats watching college football while enjoying juicy, tender chicken strips. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is launching the Buckeye Box to satisfy your hunger. For just $8.99, you get 4 delicious chicken strips, fresh cut potato wedges, and 2 mouth-watering dipping sauces. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken today to get your Buckeye Box, only at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hi, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and to repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Look, the goal was to not spend a lot of time on this story because I thought Kev and I spent a ton of time on it on Friday, coming out of the weekend. KB and I, we talked about it at Frickers on Sunday, but then more came out. More details came out about the allegations, towards Michigan, about the sign stealing and all the stuff that went into it. Now, again, sign stealing is what it keeps being simply watered down to, but it's how they went about getting the signs. And that's something Kev and I were talking about. And that's why I'm excited to bring on our next guest, ESPN's Dan Murphy. And Kev, you and I were talking. the simple way to get this interview started is just one simple question.
Dan, for the people that have not read the article, can you please explain things in layman's terms?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Basically what we found over the weekend after talking to a whole bunch of people around the Big Ten was that this guy named Connor Stallions, who was an employee at the Michigan football program, was on the sidelines with them frequently over the past couple of years. Over the past 3 years, has bought dozens of tickets to games where Michigan wasn't playing, but their future opponents were playing against each other. And the allegation there is that Stallions would give those tickets to other people who would then go and tape or photograph the sidelines of future Michigan opponents. And then in using that, they were able to kind of figure out what these team signals were and try to give themselves a leg up by being able to kind of steal signs in a way that is considered beyond the realm of gamesmanship and into things that are violations of the NCAA rules. And, so as you mentioned, right, in the course of a game, it's not illegal for a coach to be peeking over the other sideline. And if they can crack the code that the other team uses to signal their plays in, that's all kind of considered maybe not great sportsmanship, but it's certainly not against the rules. And it's certainly something that I think pretty much every program in the country has tried to do to some extent. What Michigan has been accused of doing, and again, these are all still accusations, goes far beyond that in taping the sidelines of opponents' games ahead of time. It is against the NCAA rules to scout another team in person when you're not there, and it is also against the rules to be taping a sideline like they're alleged to have done.
So what's some type of the feedback you've been getting from the Michigan fan base? Are they embarrassed? Are they saying this is a witch hunt? What type of feedback are you getting from them?
Yeah, it always runs the gamut a little bit, and I'm always a little bit tentative to, most of the feedback we get is from angry fans on Twitter or in their email inbox or something like that. And I know that's not always representative of an entire fan base, and certainly not the way the university thinks about it. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of, claiming this is overblown or that this wasn't that big of a deal and didn't give that much of an edge, or sort of nibbling at the edges of, well, technically, if it wasn't the Michigan employee that showed up at the games, there's really not breaking the rules here. Maybe this was a loophole that Michigan exploited that technically isn't against the rules. But I think overall, it's hard to defend the spirit of what they're doing here as something that's that acceptable.
ESPN's Dan Murphy with us. And Dan, you've been a regular on the show for years. Anytime that there's been any kind of like major scandal that has kind of, really piqued the interest of the our listeners as far as the teams that we follow the most, obviously. And we're not Michigan fans over here by any means, but obviously a lot of Ohio State fans. You were regular on the show years ago during the Urban Meyer departure from Ohio State, of course. And obviously every scandal is different. But let me ask you this: as you're sorting through this, when you're investigating this, and you're kind of talking to your sources, and we're not asking you to reveal any sources, how cooperative are these parties being? Like, is it the NCAA you're talking to? Is it the Michigan sources you're talking to? Like, who is it that ESPN, that you guys are getting this information from, as far as that's concerned, if you're allowed to dive into that?
Yeah, I can't say too much on that front because the folks that we talk to all want to do it anonymously. But yeah, I mean, it's been a busy few days for a lot of us at ESPN, working the phones together to sort of piece together some of the evidence here. This isn't one person sending us a tip. This is dozens of phone calls that add up, and we can kind of like piece together what's happened here.
So obviously credible. Definitely not doubting your sources by any means, but you feel confident in these, not the allegations, but I guess the information that you're getting. Obviously you wouldn't put it out there if you didn't, but just to emphasize one more time, you feel confident that the information you're getting is a depiction of kind of what Michigan's been truly accused of as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, so look, we know there's no doubt in my mind that this guy named Connor Stallions, who worked with the Michigan program for a long time, for a few years, volunteered for them for a long time before that, was purchasing tickets, and that he was sending people to those games, and that I have no reason not to believe what I'm told when I hear that other schools have found surveillance video of the guys who were sitting in those seats. It's pretty impressive the way that the technology that exists to track sort of when someone checks into a game based on the ticket they bought or whose name they were under. All these schools can very quickly kind of search somebody's name in their database and figure out when they bought tickets and where those people sat. And then they can turn to surveillance video of those games and piece together, okay, who was sitting in that seat and what they were doing during that time. So I don't think that's a hard lift. And because of that, I think, so much of what the NCAA is asked to weigh in on college football scandals that involve sort of recruiting and a lot of the other stuff that's going on that people see as cheating or gamesmanship or trying to get an unfair competitive edge is usually really hard for them to pin down and find evidence for unless somebody is willing to sort of, dime somebody out. In this case, I don't think it will be that hard if in fact all the things that Michigan is, the hard part will be connecting it back up to Jim Harbaugh or the coaching staff and proving if they in fact had any kind of knowledge that this was going on or had asked the staffers to do this for them. I think you can make your own assumptions there on whether or not they would have been aware of all of this, but I think that will be the challenge that the NCAA investigators have, is trying to prove how high up the chain in Michigan football this kind of information was flowing from. Otherwise, the fact that folks from Michigan were buying tickets there and that they were photographing or videoing opponents, I don't think that's going to be that hard for the NCAA to pin down and find the evidence to show.
And that's the thing too, Dan. ESPN's Dan Murphy joining us now, talking about the potential cheating scandal with Michigan and the football program. That's what people keep saying too, is, okay, well, did Jim Harbaugh have any knowledge of what was going on? Even if he didn't orchestrate it off, he didn't make the game plan for how to go get this information. You don't think when that information is brought back to him and they're using that information to game plan or to make adjustments during a game or calling out plays and all that stuff, like, it doesn't matter if he knows how they got it or not. The bottom line is, at some point that information was used by him and his coaching staff. And that's what's fascinating about all of this is, yes, it's not Harbaugh sitting in the stands with the cell phone out recording everything, but even if he didn't know that they were going out doing these things, the second they brought that information back to him and he used it, is that something that could be held against him as well?
Yeah, so the NCAA has a rule. So, most head coaches, and especially in football and basketball world, are smart enough where if they're going to play in the gray area of rules or flat out break rules, that they're going to put a layer of, people in between them and whatever that broken rule, whatever that violation looks like, right? If it's paying recruits in basketball, the head coach himself isn't going to be in the room or going to make any promises. It's going to be, some assistant talking to some other assistant who talks to the kid's high school football coach. And the NCAA has a way of getting around that, right? There is a rule called a lack of institutional control, where ultimately, basically that bakes down to, if you're the head coach of a program, you are ultimately responsible for knowing what's going on under your own roof. And so even if there's no direct evidence and knowledge that a head coach knew about a violation, if it's egregious enough and if it's happened long enough, the NCAA has a bit of leeway, given that rule, to punish the head coach of a program, even if they can't say for sure that the coach knew what was going on.
Dan, on a scale from 1 to 10, how serious is this alleged offense?
I mean, if it's a full-fledged, they were at all these games, taping signals and then using them to get a jump on players, it's a really big deal. It's a very clear competitive advantage that impacts the integrity of the game for one of the top teams in college football in the past 3 or 4 years. It is kind of unprecedented. I don't think, this rule's been in place. This idea that you can't go to other campuses and scout teams ahead of time has been in place since the mid-90s. And since that came in place, I don't know. There's one example that's not of a coach showing up for one half of a game, but he was there kind of to see his buddies, and he quickly left and reported the mistake himself, and he got suspended for a half a game. But there is nothing that even comes close to the scale that Michigan is being accused of doing. And if the NCAA finds out all this stuff is true, and it certainly seems like it shouldn't be that hard to pin together some of this evidence if it in fact happened. I don't know what the punishment will be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest question I think that lingers for me and for everyone else covering this at the moment is how quickly can the NCAA potentially finish an investigation, and would it derail what's looking like a a potential national championship or a college football playoff type of season for Michigan at this point.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question. Would you think they would be able to get this resolved before the end of the season, or would they basically let the season play out, let them do whatever they do, maybe win the Big Ten, maybe win the national championship, and then later on, maybe in the summer, say, you know what, that never happened?
Yeah, I know they would. I'm sure there are a lot of people, both within the NCAA and certainly opponents of Michigan, people around the Big Ten. Jim Harbaugh hasn't made himself a ton of friends among other people in the coaching profession. That would be very eager to see this happen. To have this wrapped up by the end of November, so they can decide whether they want to have Michigan play for a Big Ten title or play for a potential national championship. I honestly have no idea, and anybody who tells you they know is probably full of it right now. How that might play out, what the timeline would look like. The NCAA has not said how far along they are here or how much time they'll need to get this done. I'm sure that, I'm sure they're moving as fast as they can, but I really don't know even what the punishment for something like this might look like, let alone how quickly they can get it sorted out.
All right, last thing on the way out, ESPN's Dan Murphy spending some time with us. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Dan, the last thing on the way out, one of the constant pushbacks we're getting from the Michigan fans that do interact with the show, well, everyone else is doing it. I agree. I mean, we heard a clip from Dion and some of the coaches that every coach, every staff's trying to get some kind of advantage, here and there. But at what point did what Michigan do is separate, like it started to separate them from what all the other teams do? Do you believe that all teams are doing this? And it sounds like you're dealing with a 7-year-old. Well, all the other kids are doing it. That's what it sounds like we're dealing with Michigan fans right now.
Yeah, first of all, as you said, not a great excuse, right? What about this other guy is never going to be a great defense in any kind of courts, even if it's the NCAA kangaroo courts. But I think, if everyone else has this elaborate of a buying tickets to their other team's thing and then potentially videotaping it, that would come as a surprise to me. Does everyone else try to steal signals? Is there somebody up in the press box with binoculars looking at the far sideline? Yeah, of course. I think that absolutely happens. And that technically, like we said, is not against the rules. I think what Michigan is doing, though, seems to go pretty far beyond what most other schools accuse each other of doing when they talk about that gamesmanship and that sign stealing.
All right. Excellent stuff. ESPN's Dan Murphy. Dan, you are the man. We appreciate your time today. And thank you for kind of shedding some light on this so that we're not just some two Buckeye homers, just giving hot takes. You brought some credibility to it. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Good stuff. Dan Murphy, ESPN. We'll be right back. More of the Kinner and Kev Show next.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tuning in to the high school football game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping the public safe in dangerous times, no matter what the reason. 1410 Wing AM is here to serve you. Visit wearebroadcasters.com to learn more and tell us how you depend on AM.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. Easy cleanup with the Ryobi 18-volt ONE+ Whisper Series leaf blower and football. That's right, Reese Davis. With variable speed, it has the power for when you really need it and just the right amount when you don't. And the ONE+ battery platform means you go from yard work to DIY in just a click, so you can get projects done faster. Which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Ryobi and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see our full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check us out online at columbusequipment.com.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debits, a game-changing checking account with cash back. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
High school football fans, get up-to-the-minute score updates from all the biggest games around the Miami Valley using the 1410 ESPN Radio Scoreboard, presented by Frickers. Visit 937sports.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We welcome you back. Shout out to Dan Murphy. Kev, back when it was the Kinner and Schlemmer show, shout out to Mr. Schlemmer, Miss Mark Schlemmer. Dan was a regular on the show like all the time. I'll never forget. And see, this is why when Michigan fans say you're just hating because you're a Buckeye fan, keep in mind, Buckeye fans hated Schlemmer and I years ago when the Urban Meyer thing happened. And I don't remember. I know, you talked all the time about this. I just don't, but the bottom line is during that stretch, the reason I know I'm not one of those, I'm going to pile on Michigan because it's what you do in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry.
Right.
I don't do that. I never have. I don't do the blocking out the M's or any of that stuff. But
I do.
I remember people, and that's totally fine. But I mean, like, I just don't
It's
get
one of
into
my favorite pastimes.
And maybe now that the rivalry's back, maybe it's more justified. But we're beating it by 50 every year, and that's a little exaggerated. But no, he came on all the time with Schlemmer and I, and Buckeye fans were so mad at Schlemmer and I because we were like, Urban, do I think it's right that you didn't physically do anything wrong, but yet you're being made to be the bad guy? I didn't agree with that, but you're the head coach. It happened under your watch. And that's the same thing with this. Like, I feel like I'm I'm consistently annoying. That's fine. However you want to, I'm consistently fill in the blank. That's fine. But I'm the same across the board. I'm one of the biggest Ohio State fans out there. But when they screw up, I mean, people were so angry at me because now it's the cool thing to pile on Urban Meyer. You've always been not anti-Urban, but you haven't done the drooling thing over him like most. But I do know for a fact, Buckeye fans, you thought the guy walked on water. All of you were pro-Urban Meyer, even at the peak of that investigation, even when the stuff was coming out. Buckeye fans, you're no better than what Michigan fans are doing right now. Now, what Harbaugh is doing is not anywhere close to what Urban was involved in, so I don't want to overlap that. But the point is I watched Ohio State do fans do what you're getting mad at Michigan fans for doing, and that's that cult-like following where everyone's out to get us. There's no way that our team did this. A couple years from now, you'll look back and say, okay, that this was messed up, and that if Ohio State had done this, you would do it too. Bottom line is I'm consistent. I don't play into the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry to the point to where I'm going to overreact to something like this. I didn't on Friday. I didn't think it was that big a deal, but the more it's coming out, it's just now it's past the point of, okay, they're doing what everyone else is doing.
Right.
You just heard from Dan Murphy, but Dan was a regular during that time. And I remember he was laughing at, he goes, yeah, Buckeye fans are some of the most brutal fans out there. That's why I laughed when you asked him about the Michigan fans.
Absolutely, man. You know, Buckeye Nation, we are passionate to say the least. To the Urban Meyer situation, everything that he was involved in and with the Zach Smith situation, everything like that, I always preface it to people. If this was happening to your coworker, wouldn't you contact somebody? Wouldn't you say something? I mean, we just had workplace harassment training here at work.
Oh crap!
You didn't finish that? Okay.
Wait, well, when was that due? To be honest, when was that due?
It's not due until like November 15th, so you got time. But
of course, nerd alert. So, don't do that to me, by the way.
So, like people that do those workplace training, it is your responsibility to tell upper management, and it's their responsibility to follow through. And like that's the biggest thing in our training was the follow through. Like, yeah, you can't just simply say it one time. You, especially being a manager, have to follow up with the employee that had the issue. So like that's been my whole thing. Like, yeah, you can't just basically turn a blind eye to certain stuff like that, and especially to that magnitude. Obviously, these are two totally different situations, and I'm always try to be a person that looks at case by case. I rarely try to say, well, if this was this program, then they would have came down on them like this. I try not to do that. I know I'm not perfect with it. But in this case with Michigan, it is clearly stated that you can't use technology and in-game scouting and things like that. I want to hear from all the Michigan fans that are defending what's going on with the football program. I want to hear and read their tweets about everything. that was going on with the Houston Astros with the garbage cans. So if I find any of your tweets saying, oh, they're cheaters, then let's point a mirror right at your face, because that's exactly what they did. They were cheating. You were cheating. They capitalized by winning a World Series by cheating, banging on trash cans, using video equipment to tape signals and stuff like that. If you ever said that the New England Patriots were cheating when they were taping opponents like the Cincinnati Bengals and everything like that, and they're cheating too. So like, let's be real here, man. It's against the rules. It was cheating. It is what it is. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means, hey, they were cheating. And I was having a conversation with our guy Ryan Drake, and he was talking like, well, what if he gets on the stand and starts squealing on people and everything like that? I was like, yeah, like if he does, like this, let's be real. This isn't against the law in
court of
law, and the police are going to get involved. The NCAA is going to get involved, and somebody's going to get fired because, hey, man, it's a bad look, and they're going to. Somebody's gonna have to show a just cause to get hired at another university. Like, nobody's going to jail over this. People are gonna lose their jobs and be tainted and everything like that. But no one's going to jail.
So the other aspect, I forgot to ask Dan Murphy about this. How much does sports betting play a role in this? Because whether we like it or not, the integrity of the game, it's not like college football cares. I mean, they care about the integrity of the game, don't get me wrong, but they care about those sports betting dollars, and Absolutely. They care about the credibility of that. So this could be one of those things too, where there's an opportunity where the NCAA, and they like to, at times, to use teams to send a message. They could use Michigan to send a message. Now, if you guys feel like they're picking on you guys for that, it was your responsibility to not put your program in a vulnerable spot. So if for everyone out there that does the whole, well, everyone else is doing it, we can't say, for one, you can't say that they are for sure, but I can't say that they're not. But I do know what they're not doing is they're not getting caught.
Right. And
that's the thing too. By the way, I'm not a do-gooder. I'm not even close. Okay. I'm not even gonna say I'm a good person. I would like to be. I try my best, darn it. But the bottom line is if I bend the rules or do something I'm not supposed to, I promise you this, the one thing you will never catch me doing is doing the, oh my gosh, I stole that. And can you believe that they're mad at me for it? Like, you will never hear me get mad for being held accountable on something ever. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an example you're thinking of that, oh, Kinner's full of crap, and maybe, and I'll own up to it. But that's the thing. I'm not sitting there judging you if you're breaking the rules, but the only time I judge people is when, well, you were doing drugs and you got pulled over and they found it on you and you're pissed. Why? You were the dummy that got caught. You were the dummy. So I don't care. You want to live life on the edge, more power to you. But what you're not allowed to do is cry and complain when you're held accountable. That's where I'm getting kind of fed up with Michigan fans at this point. It is okay to say, you know what, that's fine. Buckeye fans, you're dumb if you think that that's why we beat you is because of that. Like, yeah, we shouldn't have done it. But like, it's to the extreme right now that everyone's out to get them. Let's be clear. When you think of college football, the programs that if the NCAA was going to go after like the high-end programs, I don't think Michigan's at the top of that list. No offense to them. I just don't. Everyone's like, oh, Alabama, all this. Sometimes those programs, oh, they're cheating. I don't know. I'm not saying that they don't cheat, but sometimes you're Alabama, you don't have to cheat. Sometimes you're Ohio State, you don't have to cheat. I've defended Duke in that regards too, in North Carolina. Of course, I was wrong on that because look at the Zion Williams thing. But I've always said, like,
and the class thing at North Carolina, you
bend the rules, but like I don't think they have to go to the extreme. Like like an Ole Miss, you have to cheat to keep up because sometimes the brand elevates you higher to where you don't have to do as much cheating. I don't think Alabama cheats as much as Ole Miss, if that's the case. I don't think Ohio State has to cheat as much as maybe when Michigan State's rolling or a Wisconsin. I think Fickell is going to be facing a lot of moral things that he's like, oh, I know this is wrong, but if I don't do this, I lose this player. And if I lose that player, I can't compete with Ohio State and then I lose my job. So that's just the nature of this stuff. I don't blame programs for when they get caught up in that stuff, but what you can't do is do the victim thing and say, I can't believe they're coming after me. It's on you. It's on you.
Yeah. And I think the quote unquote cheating that's been going on in college sports for a long time isn't even cheating anymore because you're allowed to, have your NIL collectives and basically buy players that come to your school. So it should be, hey, if it's legal now, you should be perfectly fine. I did want to touch on that fact that you talked about with, the sports gambling aspect.
Yeah, I breezed through that. My bad.
So no, you're good because this is not a transition, but this is just to point that out. So the NFL is investigating the Falcons for Bijan Robinson only getting one carry in that game, and basically he was sick. and he didn't really play in that game and everything like that. And there's a lot of sports bettors out there, hand raised to the sky, that had him in a parlay, and was curious why he wasn't getting the ball inside the 5-yard line that could have cashed $1 into $50 for me personally. So, like, you talk about that on just a minuscule level for me with Bijan Robinson not being a part of a parlay. But then you think about, like, hey, man, if this has been going on for 2 seasons or whatever, that's what, 20 something games. That's like 24 games that, this has been going on, affecting parlays, affecting outcomes of games, point spreads, and things of that nature. So, like, yeah, it runs deep. Now, are we ever going to get our money back if you bet on Ohio State and the Michigan game? Absolutely not. I mean, it's called gambling, and that's basically what's going to happen. But, like, there's tentacles to this that go all over the place.
That's a good point. Like, I didn't even think of it that. I want to let's sidestep that. I want to get into that more in detail as an isolated thing, but like that, the point is, and here's my takeaway on that. And it's funny that you were actually impacted by that.
Dude, because $1 into $50? Yes.
So,
come on, man.
That makes my next point a little uncomfortable to say, but like, I don't feel like you or me or anyone is owed anything from these NFL teams because because of our gambling thing. But the NFL is telling the teams that we matter, because the NFL knows that the money that they're getting comes from our involvement in sports gambling, and therefore sports gambling is important to them. All that stuff. There's a reason that by the way, the NFL, they're not hypocrites when they suspend these players for getting caught for gambling. It's good business. Like, it's not good business for the players to be involved in that. Whether you guys agree with that or not, the bottom line is the NFL is right for doing what they're doing, even though they're hypocrites. Yes. But it's all about business. So that's business. Like, and that makes them look bad to their sports betting companies and partnerships and all of that stuff. So we'll get into that in a moment.
I definitely got some hot takes on that.
So we'll find out how much that matters to the NCAA and their investigation of this. Last thing on this, and then I promise we're transitioning to the NFL and some other stuff. What should the punishment be? So I'm done. Kev's opinion on this. Mine, and we know most of yours. I've been reading the comments all day, and I appreciate the interaction on social media all day, by the way. Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, check it out. You'll probably be annoyed with me by midday every day, but that's fine. But I appreciate everyone who does check out that page and interact. And the ESPN Dayton Facebook page and YouTube channel, by the way. But I am curious, what is a realistic punishment that Michigan fans should be expecting for their program? And forget being a Michigan fan, but Kev, me, whoever, what do you think is a realistic punishment that should be handed down to them? I've seen the death penalty. Let's stop it with that. Like that, it's not to that extreme. It's fringe, it's getting pretty iffy. If this was an orchestrated thing that, was premeditated, and it sounds like it's been going on for years, that's not a good thing. But like, where do we go with this? Everyone's like, oh, they need to be held accountable. What does that mean? I think for my take on this, it's as simple as buy Harbaugh. Simple as that. If there's, I'm not a big fan of punishing the universities. Like, once you get rid of the coach, you got rid of the source of the problem. That coach should then have a punishment tied to him that, okay, if he bails and goes to the NFL, Harbaugh, all right, fine. Michigan's going to have to face this while you're out. But if you ever come back to take over a program, you will be met with fill in the blank, whatever it is. I know that's not how it works.
That show cause stuff. Yeah.
I think there'll be minimal punishment. I don't know if it's going to be a postseason ban, a bowl ban, a postseason ban. I don't know. But I don't even have a hot take on this. I don't know what the punishment should be. I just don't think it should be to the extreme that I'm seeing a lot of on social media, where show cause and all that stuff. I don't think we're there yet. I don't even think we're close to that, to be honest with you. Where are we?
No, I think that definitely not the death penalty. Like, nobody's going to get the death penalty in today.
It's not the real death penalty, by the way.
Yeah, nobody's going to get the SMU treatment anymore, man. Like, it's too much money involved. Like, that fan base that Michigan has is right up there, and they can get a lot of eyeballs on the TV screen. So they're not going to do that. They're not going to cut their nose off to spite their face or anything like that. But I think the simplest thing is, we already know that Harbaugh is probably going to leave anyway. So firing him isn't going to do him anything. It's just kind of like when, the NBA forced old buddy to sell the Clippers. Like, oh, well, you made him an extra $1 billion because you made him get out the NBA. Well, you gave him money. So, like, what really did you do? The biggest thing I would say, 10 scholarships a year for the next X amount of years. Like, all right, if you got, what's that scholarship limit? 85, you now have 75. That's how you hurt a team. That's how you penalize somebody. Like, all right, man. And we're starting to see that with injuries that happen in college football. We look at Brock Bowers and everything like that. Okay, they're going to replace him with another 5-star tight end. But do you got a third 5-star tight end? You know what I'm saying? So, like, hey, over the next 5 years, you only can have 70 scholarship players. And that roster gets thin quickly when you're taking in transfers and then you're trying to do high school recruiting and everything like that. You're going to have a smaller roster, which makes you less of a team, especially when injuries come involved.
See, and by the way, and that's a great answer based on how the NCAA works. And I think it's wrong how it works because you're punishing kids, and it's the same talking, but you're punishing kids and coaches that had nothing to do with it. So I'm not a fan of that approach. But you really want to get coaches' attention now, and I've said this about anything like this. Michigan, if we get down to the bottom of this investigation and find out for the last 2 years that you've benefited, you've made it to the playoff, you've won the Big Ten championship back-to-back years, I'm sorry, but this year you're banned from postseason play. I don't care if you're the number one team in the country. Like, you've benefited from the fruits of your cheating over the last 2 years. It's not our fault that you couldn't see it to the finish line. But I know it won't happen, but that's how I think it should happen. I think that because for this type of thing, this isn't like a sexual abuse scandal or something. And I'm not saying that's nothing. I'm just saying that's different as far as you don't ban a team from the postseason for that. It's like there's different ways to approach that type of punishment. With this, though, actual cheating, you've violated the integrity of the game and everything. I have no problem if the NCAA came out and said, Michigan, you're banned from the postseason. No, not because I'm a Buckeye fan and don't want Ohio State to have to, to deal with losing to them and get whatever. As far as I'm concerned, the winning streak, we're vacating the last 2 losses to Michigan anyways. I don't know how many thousands of days we're talking now, but nonetheless. All right, good stuff. It's the Kinner and Kev Show right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Brian Hetzel, he messages into the show. We asked, what do you guys think the punishment should be? Brian Hetzel says, no Big Ten championship and playoffs this year. We're on the same page, Brian. Harbaugh gets fired and a 5-year ban on coaching in college. Still feel bad for the kids. Agree.
You must need to see that video because the kids were pointing out the signal just like the other coach was. So they were in on it. Yeah. And that's like my other thing like that. I'm surprised this hasn't come out sooner. People can't hold water for nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised a Michigan player that's in the NFL, that's on the same team as an Ohio State player, hadn't let it slip. Like, man, you know what? We had your whole thing figured out. Like, what you mean? Like, man, we had your signs. How'd you do that? Oh, man, I can't tell you, man. I can't tell you. And then eventually it comes out. I'm surprised this hasn't come out sooner, to be honest.
Or if they say that, they just think we look for signs too. Maybe they just didn't let it out of the bag, the extent of it. And maybe not defending those players, maybe they didn't realize the extent of, like,
true.
They're just accepting coaching. If you're sitting there and your coach comes in and, hey, here's the scouting report, here's how we're going to attack this. Make sure you guys are looking for this and this and this. Okay, well, they're just going to listen to what the coaches are. They don't ask the coach, well, coach, how do you know? How do you know they're going to do that? Defending them slightly, not by much, though, as far as that's concerned. One more. Dennis on Facebook says, notice when they play teams that they can't scout in advance in person, they don't perform well at all. That's what was weird, too. Like, they said they were scouting potential playoff teams. No, and to be fair, TCU, especially a year ago at this time, they were not viewed as a potential playoff team, or no one was really buying into it. Hell, they lost the Big 12 championship game, and still people doubted whether they were going to make the playoff or not. So if it does fit the narrative that Michigan was sending these guys out to scout potential playoff opponents, it would make sense why they were super prepared for Ohio State. They were super prepared for Penn State, those other opponents. But TCU, it looked like they had just never played football before. I don't know about that, but it doesn't do them any favors. The aesthetics do not help them as far as that's concerned. But nonetheless. All right, Rolando. What up, Ro? Ro says you can't punish the students for what a coach does. And he said, what's up?
What's up, bro?
So Dennis also says cheaters. Nonetheless. All right, folks, it's the Kinner and Kev Show right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Demaro.
Read Across America isn't just a one-week campaign in the spring. It's important to celebrate our nation of diverse readers and help support a lifelong love of reading for all our young readers, all year round. Take some time to read with the children in your life and enjoy diverse books that help them see themselves and the world around them in new ways.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
At the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission, we help veterans and their dependents navigate the process of applying for benefits administered by the VA. We can assist with VA claims, pensions, and a variety of benefits, including emergency financial assistance, transportation, and legal services. If you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, a wide range of services may be available to you, always at no cost to the veteran. We are honored and proud to serve all Miami Valley veterans. Contact us today at 937-225-4801.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cash back. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Touchdown! Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
the Kinner Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We are back. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Michigan, if they are found guilty of this and a punishment comes down, what is a fair punishment? I'll just leave that open for everyone, but I do want to switch gears and kind of get into the NFL a little bit.
Right, because we will talk about this situation until there's nothing else to talk about. Because it's a hot topic. Yeah. Definitely a hot topic.
No Shaw today, by the way.
Oh, you ran him off.
Right, by the way,
with all the Michigan bashing.
And that's fine. He can be mad at me all he wants for that. But let's get one thing clear as far as I'm concerned. He made 0 sense yesterday. There are some days where I enjoy just kind of getting him all fired up. But I don't think that's what this was yesterday. Yesterday, he didn't make any sense at all. What is that noise, by the way? Is that you?
Yes.
Oh, was it your Metro speaker?
Yeah.
Metro by T-Mobile, yada, yada, yada.
Yes, sir.
Do I get anything for that little plug right there? No,
you do not.
No, it's worth the shot.
You get to hang out with me.
Yada, yada, yada. All right, NFL. We'll transition.
There we go. That's better. I got sick of people looking up my nose.
Oh, you got taller. Let's go to the phones. I think this is Adam. Adam, thanks for holding. Welcome. You're on live.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call. Okay, so we started NFL here. Not going to lie, I definitely walked in a little bit proud to be a Browns fan after the past couple of weeks, so we're going to go there for sure. But for the Browns, I guess I need your guys' opinion on this. Do they try to trade for somebody here? Because I feel like they're still kind of all in on the season. Do they fingers crossed hope PJ Walker doesn't try to throw 3 interceptions a game here? I guess I'm kind of at a crossroads here personally as a fan. So
no, I mean, you're in the same boat. No idea how to feel about this. The bottom line is realistically, the Browns don't have time to trade for a quarterback. I know that's what everyone wants them to do. Their best bet is to continue to sit behind their backup quarterback and let the defense and run game try to win them games. Now that took a huge setback again with the running back from Cincinnati going down, and he's hurt now after having a great game this past week against the Colts. But Adam, the thing that they think that they should do, honestly, I think that as wild as this sounds, with everyone talking about how the run game, that you shouldn't invest into it, I think that they need to lean into the run game significantly more with that defense and just try to hope and cross your fingers that the backup quarterback, PJ Walker, doesn't lose them games. If I'm the Browns, I do everything you can to go get Derrick Henry. Go be dominant at something. If you try to go get a quarterback, then you got to trade for that quarterback. You got to let them learn the system. And then when they struggle, you got to do the whole, we got to wait 2 or 3 weeks for them to learn the system. We don't got time for that. So to me, let PJ Walker, let him, kind of steer the ship a little bit. Hopefully you get Deshaun back and he can at least look like something. But I think right now the best way to improve the team immediately is to go get Derrick Henry if you can, if he's available. If he's available, there's obviously Leonard Fournette that's available. I don't know how much he has in the tank left. There's some, there's Dalvin Cook. That was a hell of a fall off. That wasn't like a gradual fall off, Adam, right? Like we saw him with the Vikings last year. Just to go from that to this is wild. I don't know, but I think the best way for the Browns to improve is a run game addition. That's where I would go.
Flyer, since you brought up the running game, you mentioned Dalvin Cook. Same team, Jets. Do you think they have any wish at maybe us getting Breece Hall off their hands? Like, what do you guys feel about that?
So, and Adam, thanks, man. Why are you laughing?
Come on, man.
For one, no. The reason I say Derrick Henry, and people are like kind of big eye in that. For one, Cleveland has all this like $36 million in rollover caps, money that they want to roll over. So everyone thinks that because they have this $36 million, I believe it is, maybe it's closer to 40, this $36 million, $40 million, that they could just go out and get whoever the heck they want. The way that they've set this up, the reason that they've been able to go out and load up on the defensive line and spend all this money is because they had the same rollover cash last year. They set it up so they could take this rollover cash, and it basically, so if Deshaun Watson's cap next year is like super high, it's like 60 something. So if they have 40 in this rollover cap, that basically takes his cap hit and makes it 20 something. That's the magic behind what they've been able to do. And that's where the magic has been stopping, to be quite honest with you. But the reason that they're able to keep extending guys and getting in and adding weapons is because of that. That they can't do that if they use that money to go pay a Breece Hall or someone like that. That's why that ain't happening. Derrick Henry makes all the sense in the world because the Titans are about to start a big rebuild. They're trying to unload, obviously Hopkins and all those guys. Derrick Henry, this is the last year of his contract. He's a free agent after this year. So he's the perfect guy to go get because he could replace Nick Chubb for 1 year. You're not going to go get a quarterback that's going to elevate you to where you think it's going to be. In fact, it only hurts you because it's a guy that you have to wait to learn the system a few more weeks. Don't have time for that. Go get Derrick Henry, run the hell out of the football. Let PJ Walker, who between the 20s is actually not terrible. It's in that you get in the red zone where he's been bad, but that's when you just keep using Derrick Henry and Kareem Hunt, and off you go. Cleveland's not winning this division. Somehow, some way, the Steelers' offense has surpassed them, at least right now. Cleveland has the worst statistical passing offense in the NFL right now as they've had to battle through whatever the hell's going on with Deshaun. So, I don't know. That's where I think that the Cleveland can improve the quickest and the fastest. Not going to get a quarterback, even if Kirk Cousins is available. Why go create a mess where you go get another quarterback and then say goodbye to him and then go back to Deshaun? Just ride through it with what you can, stick to what you know, and that's running the football. Go get Derrick Henry, make it work.
Shouts out to the Pittsburgh Steelers that had 200 yards in the fourth quarter and 2 touchdown drives. Shouts out to my Pittsburgh Steelers.
A lot of rookies on that Ram deep. No, I'm just joking. It was
Hooray beer.
Yeah.
There's a Hall of Famer on that defense as well. So back to the Browns. I think the first course of action that I would want if I was a Cleveland Browns fan, let's put Deshaun Watson on the IR. Let's give them an entire 4 weeks to heal up. I know they got the MRI. They're going to figure out what's what and what's going on, yada, yada, yada. Those results will come in the next, 24 hours and everything like that. But, let's just go. Hey, man, you're going on the IR. There's no more will he, won't he play. I think rewinding to Friday's show when all the clips from practice from Thursday started to come out, everybody's like, oh, man, he's throwing. He's good. I said this on the show. I was like, I don't know what type of passes y'all are looking at. These are lollipop passes. These are passes that I throw to my 8-year-old nephew. They're just soft tosses. They don't drop back and throw a rocket. So going to Sunday's game versus the Colts, in the 5 pass attempts that he threw 1 interception, another one that should have been an interception, and a dirt ball. So outside of getting hurt again, he looked horrible. He looked worse I've ever seen him play in his life. Could that be the injury? Probably. But guess what? He's a football player. And guess what? If a football player says he wants to go out there and play, he's going to try his best to go out there and play. It is up to the organization to say, nope, you're not playing. So I would want him shut down for 4 weeks. Roll out there, like you said, with PJ Walker and let the backup be the backup. I mean, that's why you have a backup quarterback, is to play when your starter isn't able to play. As far as making moves for another player, yeah, I would lean into the run game. I mean, you're already down now to your 3rd running back. You had to go get Kareem Hunt from off the scrap yard because he was sitting at home chilling. So you're on your 3rd running back already as well. You're on your 3rd quarterback. So if you are able to make a move for whomever, be it a Derrick Henry and everything like that, go for it. But to answer Adam's call about Breece Hall, you might as well call the 49ers and ask for Christian McCaffrey. It's not going to happen. They're not going to give up their number 1 running back who's only in his 2nd year to you. They're not going to help your calls out. You might as well ask for Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson while you're at it. It's just not going to happen. And they got dreams of making the playoffs just like you. So the feasible thing is what you said, Derrick Henry, somebody that's in the last year of their contract, and that they can come in there and pay, and he'll 1-year rental.
And might even get lucky until the Titans pays some of it too. I think he's owed like 10 or 11. Get that down to 6. And then it doesn't hurt the Browns at all. Like it doesn't hurt them at all because I forgot with the player, they said they could restructure another contract and it would basically offset. So I do think if the Titans are willing to give him up, the Browns will go after him. They'll give up some late round. They don't have many early round draft picks, but they'll give up some draft picks. And if they even have to eat the money to save the Titans money, they're in position to do it because they could just restructure another contract that they have. That makes the most sense. Now I'm trying to see where did this comment go? Dang it, I'm mad that I didn't save it. Oh, so Brian Hetzel says if Pittsburgh can win with defense, why can't the Browns? The Browns need to roll with what they got. Let's be clear, the Browns are winning. They're 4-2. It's not pretty. That's why I haven't been coming in being me after Browns wins, because I don't think it's sustainable. I do think it's sustainable if you get a Derrick Henry. Sustainable as far as winning. I don't think it's I still think this is a playoff team. I think it's a wild card team. The Ravens, this is the best game that they've had during the Lamar run as far as with all the weapons, OBJ, everyone was out there. This is the best game they've had during this first season stretch. But I'm not a believer in Lamar until he can actually play not entire season, because if he gets hurt next week and misses a few weeks, fine, injuries happen. But play in January, then I'll buy into this. But hey, the Ravens have been, I saw Josina Anderson. Oh, don't look now, but the Ravens are in first. look the last 2 years, actually. They've been in first at this point. It's when he goes out when they crumble. Can he stay out there? Can he stay healthy? You can't predict. I'm not predicting and hoping he gets hurt. But right now, the Ravens are the best team in that division. Joe Burrow comes out and looks better, and out of the bye week, still they're the worst rushing team in football. It's not like the O-line has killed it, although it still has improved. The defense has been solid, but it's not great. So I think it's the Ravens division to lose, but I think Pittsburgh's going to make the damn playoffs. That's what's going to tick me off.
Let's hope so.
As far as I'm concerned. But no, Brian, I'm with you. They need to, Pittsburgh's winning with their defense. Why can't Cleveland? Cleveland is winning because of their defense. That's the thing. They have, atrocious offense. And I don't know how the hell they put up 30 points. Yes, I know how. I watched the game, but it's wild. It's kind of like your team when the Red Stripe game.
One of these days.
Your team did not run a play inside the 20 the entire game. It was literally the defense outscored the Browns offense that day. That's how bad the Browns were. That's how it was just a weird game. The AFC North games this year have just been absolutely ugly and insane. Is it because, it's the defense. We've talked about this. The league, the defenses are ahead, but like the Browns defense is elite. The Steelers defense is elite. The Bengals defense, it only doesn't look elite because it's being compared to the elite defenses in the division, but every other AFC team would kill to have the Bengals defense right now. So it's a wild division, that's for sure.
That's AFC North football. I think people were spoiled from this especially last year with the Cincinnati Bengals for what they did to the Baltimore Ravens twice. What
you
they
mean when
did
their
to
entire secondary was out?
Yeah, absolutely. Like they were the only team that blew people out in their division. They blew the Steelers out. They should have ruled the Steelers out in week 1. They turned the ball over like crazy. Appreciate it. But they blew the Ravens out twice. Thank you. I don't know why I keep reaching for it.
But like Deshaun shoulder.
So like they spoiled us. These games come down to the fourth quarter. No matter what, no matter how. Me and my brother was having this conversation at halftime of the Steelers and Rams game. And I tried to tell him, I was like, look, man, what's going to happen is it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. Are we going to be able to muster up one rinky-dinky drive or hit, a big run or a big pass to put us up, or we're not? Like, we're going to be there in the fourth quarter. And it's not because, oh, man, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's all these games come down to the fourth quarter. You go back and look at the Cleveland Browns and the Colts game, it's 39-38. Now, as a fan of football, it was highly entertaining. I was entertained, but I couldn't imagine being a Browns fan in that situation and just like biting my nails because you're like, oh, man, we're going up against Gardner Minshew, but he's turning it over left and right, but he keeps throwing dimes. He's juking our safeties and everything like that. What's going on? As a football fan, that was one of the best games I saw all week. So,
yeah, by the way, that game too, I remember I knew that I was not confident about the Browns and the Colts. It was actually the Browns fans were like, that's a disrespectful line because it was a 3-point. Browns were 3-point favorites. I'm like, I don't think it's disrespectful at all. You're coming off of an emotionally charged game, a huge win against the San Francisco 49ers. To match that, the challenge of being able to match that same intensity. Are you going to rise up Sunday morning for the Colts the way you did for the San Francisco 49ers? No, you're not. And I think that was a challenge. Now, to be fair, their defense, even though the defense didn't play well, it still played.
Four turnovers, right?
That's what's weird too. The Colts moved the ball all over them. It kind of reminds me of that Ravens game. They played well against the Ravens, but they still gave up points. I know football is just a weird game right now. The Niners don't make any damn sense. They destroy the Cowboys, absolutely destroy them, and then they end up a few weeks later losing back-to-back games after winning 15 straight regular season games. Football's a weird sport, but that's why everyone out there that says, "Oh, these are gimme games." Now, some teams have easier schedules than others. The Browns' schedule moving forward is favorable considering the deficiencies they have due to injuries and everything else, but there's nothing guaranteed about anything. The Colts should have been a guaranteed win, and it took every freaking second, literally, to beat that damn Colts team. So
I heard that parlay you dropped on Sunday.
Yeah, I dropped it. All right.
How much did you drop on that? How much?
Who the hell did you hear that from?
I listened to the show, man.
Okay,
I listened to 1410 Wing AM. Shouts out to Frickers.
$25.
$25.
No, it was a bonus bet.
Oh, okay.
I had like 10 of it was a bonus bet, so I put $15
on.
But
when Deshaun went out, what happened? Did you throw something?
I wasn't on the air, but I would have got fined. I didn't think it was that. So it was Deshaun Watson to throw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I thought, hey, if he's ready to go, Why not? The Colts, you could throw on the Colts. And then I think it was for Amari Cooper to have 40 yards and the Browns to win by more than 6.5. $25 to win 400 or whatever it was. I felt pretty good about it. But at least they put me out of my misery in the first quarter and not like at the end.
Yeah, like I was down to the wire. Like that's what I do. I be making these super crazy parlays with $1 or $2 to make 80, and I just be coming up so short. What's the biggest amount you ever bet since
25? Now, at the beginning, with the deals like FanDuel, when we worked with them, they were sending us like all those bonus bets. So
yeah.
I would use all of it. I would go all in with the bonus bets and stuff. But my money, no. Now I've spent up to 50 total bets or whatever. But I'm watching like not Fitz. Who's that? Nick Wright. Nick Wright. He dropped he made a $500 bet the other night. Like some of these, we got some work to do to climb up these sports radio ranks. Because if you see what these dudes are doing, even guys at the Fan over in Columbus, so we don't have to climb that high. We just need to, head a little bit. Where's Columbus? That way. I'm watching
an hour up the road.
Yeah. By the way, there's no bigger flex. If you really want to do a social media flex, just drop, oh, look at this bet I'm doing, and then forget to crop out, how much you wagered on it. That is such a flex. You won't catch me doing that because I'm embarrassed by the low amounts that I bet, but the payouts, so I'm always looking forward to those.
Absolutely, man. I the most I've ever bet was $10. That's the most. And then when I lost, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that no more. And I'm a person that I only need to be shown that I can't do something once before I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. Now I still do it. I literally do it for fun, like you're supposed to. And I make what I call snack bets. So like $2, $1, $2, $1. And it spreads my $10 out a little bit longer because dudes, I told you about my buddy from Cleveland. He's got crazy bets in the NBA talking about the Timberwolves and the Hornets are going to play in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and he bet $10 on that parlay and is going to pay out $90,000. I was like, so you just gave him $10 basically because that's not going to happen, right?
Like I did. So the Reds to win the World Series. So back in June when they were peak hot, I put $5 for them to win the World Series, but that was $1,000 payout. But for $5,
yeah,
you would be silly not to, because weird stuff happens all the time. I mean, the Diamondbacks, who made the playoffs by 2 games more than the Reds, are about to potentially get to the Worlds. So it's like, that's why I don't mind doing that. Weird stuff happens in baseball all the time as far as that's concerned.
Call those future bets, right? Oh, now you made me go look at I need to go ahead and cash this out.
Ron Howard brings up a good point. Justin, you can't even pay back a 6-pack. So maybe it's smart that I'm only doing, the $5 bets as far as that's concerned. So Jordan Schultz, who used to be with ESPN and is now with Bleacher Report, but he covers the NFL, tweeted out a little bit ago, about 30 minutes ago, everyone is available on the Titans ahead of the trade deadline, and that starts with running back Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, and it talks about the Browns being in play for both. I'm here to tell you, I mean, if you end up getting D-Hop, cool, that's fine, but the identity of this team, I don't know how much, I mean, it doesn't hurt to add another weapon, but I don't know how much he helps you. I really don't. Not right now. If you had to pick between Derrick Henry or Hop, it's Derrick Henry. You got the best D-Hop available for you in the offseason as the kicker. Okay. D-Hop has scored a ton. I mean, he's been absolutely lights out for the Browns this year. They ranked number 2 in special teams efficiency across the board. All right. They're number 1 in defensive efficiency, and they're dead last in passing efficiency. And I think they're like number 7 in running off and rushing offense on the season. The Browns are this close. They don't have to be an elite passing team. They just need to get at least close to 20, just move up just a little, but they will not go anywhere with the worst passing attack in the National Football League. So I don't know. I am concerned about that, but it balances it out. If you have Derrick Henry, go get Derrick Henry, do everything you can to get Derrick Henry. Don't try to trade for a guy that you have to extend or whatever, eat some money and just go get Derrick Henry.
Yeah, because the problem is the guy that's throwing the ball. Like D-Hop could be, what I'm saying? You could trade. You could trade for Adams, but if you don't have anybody to get on the ball, he's not going to be himself. So it is definitely lean on the running game until, things get figured out with Watson, if they get figured out at this point. I mean, now we're about to go on 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you can call what he did on Sunday actually playing, where he only threw the ball 5 times, didn't even make it out the first quarter. So basically, it's going to be 5 weeks since he actually played. Then Like I'm talking about putting him on the IR so he can get totally healthy. That'll be what, 9 weeks?
And they keep saying that they're talking about it. Rip the Band-Aid off. But here's what they're afraid of, Kev. If they do it now, they have Seattle coming up. I'm going to kill the music real quick. So they have Seattle and Arizona coming up. Those are 2 great games to be without Deshaun for. They're probably going to split. I don't like their chances against Seattle this weekend. I think they should take care of Arizona, but we've talked about it. No safe game. But if I had to, I feel confident that the Browns split one of the next 2. But if they put him on the IR, he's out for the next 4 weeks guaranteed. Well, guess what's waiting after that Seattle-Arizona game? Baltimore and Pittsburgh. So I'm just saying, like, so you have Pittsburgh at home, you're at Baltimore, and we saw what happened the last time they played Baltimore without Deshaun Watson. So, and by the way, even if they have Deshaun, they had Deshaun on Saturday or Sunday. If that's the Deshaun, I mean, let's be clear too, by the way, that injury is on the throwing shoulder. You guys don't have to like Deshaun, and you guys could say I'm making excuses, but I'm telling you, your precious boy, Joe Burrow, if he, his calf keeps him from being able to play the position. Imagine if he
made it all the way to 424, people.
Well, no, like, let's be clear. Like, this is the hypocrisy I was talking about. Like, when Deshaun Watson crapped the bed on Sunday, everyone's like, he's a bum, he's this, he's that. Whoa, Bengals fans. He's hurt. Why are you not giving him the same benefit of the doubt that you gave Mr. Superman over there? All right. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Joe Burrow limping across the field. He still can't throw the football. He's still averaging under 200 yards a game. Bottom line is, you guys have proven you can use logic in football whenever it suits you, but now you want to be haters. So I'm going to match their level. But
you do not want him on the IR.
I think they just need to rip the Band-Aid off, because with that, I mean, if Deshaun was like playing really well through the injury, even though you were risking it, then I understand, but that was atrocious. You're right. He had no zip on that ball. Like there was one where that interception, the one he got hit on, he dropped back and I thought he was throwing it 20 yards down the field. You're right. He barely made it 10. And I'm like, so if that's what's medically, this is what I hate. He's medically cleared to play. That's medically cleared to play. I don't understand how that works. I don't know on a scale of 1 to 10 what number you have to be at to be cleared to play, or percentage wise, like what percentage do you have to be cleared to play by NFL doctors? I've asked Keith Byers and other NFL players this. No one can give me a set
If
answer.
you don't have a concussion, you're medically cleared to play.
Because organizations are like, I mean, there's pressure on those doctors too. Like, come on.
Yeah, if you're not in concussion protocol and there's not a limb hanging off, they're gonna ask you how you feel. Can you do it? Yeah. He's cleared. Let's go. That is how it works.
You spend all that money for team doctors to let Joe Burrow tell you he's good to go, to let Deshaun tell you. I mean, that's how it works. I'm not questioning you.
That is exactly how it works. That is, unless they have a concussion, they got a torn, meniscus or whatever injury, they're like, yeah, I can't even walk. Can you play? Yup. They're gonna say yes. They're football players. They're gonna say yes, I can play. They get mad at you when they're limping off the field and like, I'm good. No, you're not.
Patrick
You can't
Mahomes
walk.
last year.
I'm good. What are you talking about?
Threw the helmet down.
You can't walk, sir. You can't protect yourself. Like, you have to be able to slide. You have to be able to get out of the way. These dudes are going to go out there and play. You're right. Absolutely. It should not be in the players' hands. It should be in the medical professionals' hands. But this is football.
And then Stefanski, who I thought he did the right thing on Sunday, saw that, man, okay, he cleared the concussion protocol and he still kept him out. And then what happened? Fans piled on Stefanski. What are you doing? He's cleared to play. Did you not watch that drive? Stefanski made the right decision. Zach Taylor, by the way, I don't blame him for playing Burrow through that, because Burrow does give them the best shot. I still find it odd. I'm like, you mean to tell me that Joe Burrow was, at the time, during that stretch, he was the worst statistical quarterback in the NFL. You mean to tell me that there's not someone that could do better than worst in the league? But the backup situation is slightly different than what Cleveland had, of course. But hey, he kept throwing them out there, and they're 3-3. You can't argue with where they're at right now. The Cleveland Browns, they're 4-2, even navigating through all of this. But big picture, it's going to be interesting to see how the Bengals and Browns navigate through both of this. Brian Hetzel, he's one of my biggest rivals on social media. We have had some, just all-out arguments.
Put him up.
Brian's he's growing up. He's growing up. He's becoming mature. He's finally becoming me. He's becoming mature. No, but he goes, he's hurt. He's hurt. Shoulder injury is worse to play through than a calf. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Thank you, Mr. Hetzel. I appreciate that. You're boring me now. All right. But no, I'm joking. But yeah, it's really what it comes down to. So we'll see what happens.
So when you say rip the Band-Aid off, what do you mean?
Put him on the IR.
Okay.
You're not with that Deshaun. Yeah, I never finished that point. With the Deshaun we just saw on Sunday, you're not beating the Ravens with that Deshaun. You couldn't beat the Steelers with the healthier Deshaun. So no, just IR it and then go, because here's the next 4 games for the Cleveland Browns coming up. So they have as we talked about, Seattle, Arizona. I think they're going to split those. They'll be 5-3 at that point. All right. And then I think they're going to be 5-5 because I think they're losing both games to Baltimore and Pittsburgh. At least that's the vibe right now. You get Derrick Henry, I might change my tune a little bit. We'll see what they do at this deadline. But then they got Denver and the Rams and Jacksonville. A potential 2-3 mark through that stretch. Now that puts you at 7-6, as far as I'm concerned. And then you have Chicago and Houston. So that's 8-6. Houston potentially 9-6, but I'm gonna say it's 8-7 right now. And then they play the Jets, and I'm gonna put them at 9-7. That's gonna put them at 9 wins heading into the Cincinnati matchup, and that could potentially be for the playoffs, for the final wild card spot. We thought that Bengals-Browns game wouldn't mean anything in the final week of the regular. It might be the 2 teams limping into week 17. To the Bengals' credit, they haven't had to play a week 17 game in a few years. Remember, I criticized it because Jamar Chase, he suited up to get the rookie record. Then he made a couple catches, and then he went back to the sideline.
Right. Good luck out there, guys.
Slapped him on the ass. Said, good game, folks. Off we go.
You got to get a little bonus for that, don't I?
Oh, my gosh. But it's going to be an interesting stretch nonetheless. Here's the thing that the Browns do, though. They'll win a game that they shouldn't, and they'll lose a game that they shouldn't. They'll lose to a Chicago. They'll lose to a Denver, but they'll end up beating Jacksonville or something or they'll beat Pittsburgh or Baltimore with the way they're set up. Go get Derrick Henry. My tune will change, but right now I still see an accidental 9-win team at the very least, as far as that's concerned. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. I guess Saquon Barkley's being rumored to be made available too, with the way the Giants are playing right now, even though they're coming off the win against Washington. Jacobs and Josh Jacobs, and then Eckler as well, with the way that things are going right now. There, I read an article today that the Chargers, with the things not going the way that they had anticipated, that Marvin Harrison Jr. is a prime target of theirs right now. And well, if you try to start winning games now, you might win yourself out of those sweepstakes. So who knows? But
you mean the team Harbaugh is going to be coaching?
No.
Is he going to coach the Chargers or the Raiders?
I don't know. But see, here's what's going to happen. When Harbaugh beats Day in the final game of the regular season, Harbaugh will be the head coach, and maybe he'll extend an offer today to come be his offensive coordinator. Lincoln Riley might be the head coach of the Chargers. That's my guess for next year. So, nonetheless.
Hey, Lincoln, you have to play defense in the NFL.
He just has to coach the offense in the NFL. That's technically he just had to coach the offense at USC too.
Yeah.
But USC later is where that's trending nonetheless. Brian Hetzel said, would Derrick Henry help the Bengals, or is our O-line the problem? Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because earlier we were talking about D-Hop doesn't really help the Browns because they're going to lean into the run game. Derrick Henry helps the Browns. If the Bengals had a choice, so let me put it this way, I'm killing the music again. The Browns, if
Debbie's
they could
going to kill you.
No, we're good right now. If the Browns had to pick D-Hop or Derrick Henry, which one should
Derrick
they get?
Henry.
I agree. If the Bengals could only, now keep in mind, this one's tricky. The Bengals have the worst run game in the National Football League. If you can get Derrick Henry or D-Hop, or D-Hop, who do you get?
Derrick Henry.
I say D-Hop, only because T. Higgins, but because of that situation with T being kind of hurt right now.
Well, you got cracked rib, right?
Yeah. So D-Hop, as far as that goes, I could see him benefiting the Bengals more. As far as that goes, but then again, I've also said the Bengals will not win or make the playoffs if they have the worst running team in football. So now Debbie is our traffic manager here at work, and I am the worst. I mean, consider me Mike McCarthy. I have the worst clock management skills in the world. It is 4:32 here in the Miami Valley. I have to step away for a few. I say because I want to make sure that Kev is not included in the going to the commercial break late. Bad clock management skills as far as that's concerned. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, mostly cloudy, 58 tonight, clouds and 73 Wednesday, and partly sunny and 75 Thursday. I'm Rick Schrem for 1410 ESPN Radio.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater, high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc. Crazy cool showroom.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
This is Keith Byers for Superbook Sports. You spend valuable time thinking about which bets to place each week. So why wouldn't you want the best company in the business to be the one who handles those bets? Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in Las Vegas, and it's now live right here in Ohio for all your sports wagering needs. Superbook has a team of dedicated odds makers behind the counter in Las Vegas setting all the prices. We're talking about guys with decades of experience showing you why Superbook has the best odds around. And right now, you can look ahead to hockey and hoops postseason and place a bet on who you think will take home the title. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cash back. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck.
Let's take a look at some of the division leaders, Kev. Let's
Yes,
take a
sir.
look at some of the division leaders right now and find out which of these division leaders in the National Football League, how much of these are these your true division champs or are they just placeholders? We're going to go division by division and break it all down. So right now, again, as we head into week 8, the NFL trade deadline coming up, it's going to be interesting to follow that along. But as we sit here right now, let's start in the AFC East, Kev. The Miami Dolphins sit at the very top. They're 5-2. Trailing them is the Buffalo Bills at 4-3, the Jets 3-3, and the Patriots improved to 2-5 with an odd win over the Bills this past weekend. Odd is the best way to explain it. Mac Jones had a very solid game, 3 touchdowns, looked pretty good. But the Miami Dolphins, are they your 2023-24 AFC East champions, or are they placeholders as we sit here heading into week 8?
According to this parlay bet I put down, they sure better. I'm trying to win this $50. But no, I think they are. I mean, you look at how Buffalo has played these last couple of weeks, that nail biter they had with the Giants, and then obviously losing this past week to the Patriots. They lose to bad teams. Now you can look at the Dolphins and say they lose to teams that have a pulse, like they lost to Buffalo and lost to the Eagles, but they got a leg up on Buffalo because Buffalo is lacking right now. And also they're super banged up on defense. So I do think the Dolphins are going to win the AFC East.
So here's what's coming up for the Dolphins. All right, they got the Giants. I'm sorry, not the Giants. They already played the Giants. They got New England, Kansas City, Raiders, Jets, Washington. There's a lot of wins floating in there. Potential wins. I know that's hypocritical. We just got done talking about the fact that there's no easy wins in the NFL. There are manageable wins coming up. I'm going to say the Dolphins. Brad, if you're listening, I apologize. I think they're a placeholder. I do think they have wins coming up, but I still think right now when you look at the Buffalo Bills, I lean towards which team has the best quarterback. That's when all things are even, who has the best quarterback. I just trust Josh Allen more at this point. Now, come playoff time, maybe I don't trust Josh Allen, but I would like to see Tua get there. Right now, the Dolphins are where they were a year ago at this time, just steamrolling teams.
Right.
And I know they're coming off of a tough week, but the bottom line is I think that the Dolphins, they need to prove that they can consistently keep this going the rest of the way. We've seen the Bills consistently win throughout the regular season. Yes, they're 4-3 right now, but ultimately at the AFC East are the Dolphins. We're looking at all the division leaders right now. Are they your division champs or are they just placeholders? I think for right now, I'm going to say placeholders. I think it's still the Bills division, but that can always change here in the coming weeks. That's for sure. Plus, you look at the Bills right now, they're plus 80 in point differential. As explosive as the Dolphins offense has been, the defense has that gap closer. I think the defense complements the Bills offense more as of right now, but they got to get healthy. That's going to be the big thing when it's all said and done. All right, let's go to the AFC South. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 5-2. They have a couple game lead on the Houston Texans, who have been quite a surprise because the reason they're surprised is because CJ Stroud is playing like a top 10 quarterback. I mean, if you take Aaron Rodgers, put him on the Texans. If you take any top 10 quarterback, put him on the Texans. They look the way they look right now. CJ Stroud actually has them playing ahead of schedule. I think the Texans were counting on, all right, CJ Stroud, we got our quarterback, and we'll go ahead and we'll get some more receivers and weapons in next year's draft when we're picking at the top. Maybe get some Marvin Harrison action in there. He might play them out of those sweepstakes, and that might work against what they want to do. But the Houston Texans are better than advertised. But is it enough to take over the top spot in that AFC South? The Jaguars, are they your division winners when it's all said and done, or are they just a placeholder as we sit here right now?
I think they're for real. I think Jacksonville is for real. Obviously, they lost in the playoffs last year to the champs, Kansas City. They got a big game versus Steelers this upcoming weekend. But, I mean, I just think that Tennessee is so bad, and the Colts basically cough away games because Minshew keeps both teams in the game. Like I said, he'll get your points, but he'll also get your other team points. I just think they got the leg up on Houston right now, and I think they're just better than those guys right now.
Jacksonville is the best, worst-looking team in football right now. I don't know why. I think I've watched more of their games or as many of their games as the Browns. They've had a couple of those early morning games overseas and stuff, but they win, but they win ugly. I know a lot of teams are winning ugly right now, but yeah, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, this is they got the best quarterback in the division, at least as we sit here right now. They have Calvin Ridley. They have a ton of weapons on offense. I'd like to see, if they can add some weapons on D, yeah. Oh, and ETN, he's a touchdown machine, by the way.
Yes, sir.
That is just insane. And it's interesting how that's kind of worked out. I know they got criticized years ago for drafting him. I forgot who they had at running back when they had just signed a free agent running back.
James Robinson. Yeah.
So they signed him, and it was a good free agent signing, but then they used their first-round pick on ETN, and everyone was like, That's when you should have known things were a little dicey during the Urban era. And that not even the Urban era, the Urban couple months as far as that goes. But yeah, Jacksonville with ETN and Calvin Ridley and obviously Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Jacksonville's as solid as they come. I think that's their division to lose as far as that's concerned. Let's go to a division that we thought a year ago was the best division in football and maybe an improved division heading into this year, but it's just been a train wreck. This might be one of the worst Kansas City Chiefs teams during the Patrick Mahomes era, but they're sitting at 6-1. They have a 3-game lead on the next team behind them, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders at 3-4. The Chargers with Justin Herbert 2-4, and the Broncos are 2-5. This is kind of a quick one, but the Chiefs, are they your division champions when it's all said and done, or are they a placeholder?
Next.
Yep. You agree, though, that this Chiefs team is not?
Yeah, they're not as explosive as they once were. Defense is very, very good. Young defense getting better. But like this speaks to the Los Angeles Chargers and them not be able to just step up to the challenge. You know, this was going to be the year. This was going to be the year for them to make a play for the AFC West, and it's not. They're not. The Chiefs are going to win it again. And you know what? The teams that should be really upset is, you know, whoever comes out of the AFC North division leader, whoever wins the AFC South, because the AFC West is so bad. Kansas City Chiefs are going to get the number 1 seed. They're going to get the bye week. And to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to go to Kansas City.
Hear that, Bengals fans? You're going to have to get a new coin flip in the end zone. All right. There's no conspiracy this year keeping you out as far as that goes. AFC North. All right. And yes, Chiefs, they're your division winners. There's no doubt about it. And obviously injuries can play a role, but that's the case everywhere. AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens 5-2. I mean, they could easily be 6-1 right now with that wild finish against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has been able to, you know, that with as bad, they played so poor offensively against the Browns. They had no business winning that game. They won. And that's not a shot at your team. Like we talked about earlier, it's reality. Amazing. They didn't run a play. They didn't run a play. I said they didn't run a play in the 20s. Someone corrected me. No, they didn't run a play inside the 30.
Right.
We talk about, some teams play well between the 20s, and then when the field shrinks and not very good in the red zone, they couldn't even get to the red zone. That's how bad they were offensively. They still beat the Browns. Ugly win, but they got it done. All right, the Ravens game. Oh my gosh, that was an ugly game. I thought the Ravens had that game in the bag. I mean, Sully, remember Sully from hosting the Talking Out Loud show the last couple of years. I know he retired the podcast, but he was at that game and he was tweeting out how every Steelers fan was just leaving. Everyone was leaving. So everyone that saw about how exciting it was to be at the game, he goes, half these people left. No one gets to. Pittsburgh shouldn't have won that game or whatever, but that's where they're at. But the Ravens 5-2, the Steelers 4-2, Browns 4-2, Bengals 3-3. Best division in football, or at least the most competitive division in football. Are the Ravens your division champs for the season, or are they a placeholder?
I think they're the division champs for the season. Not only that, I think they have the best quarterback in the division, but that defense is starting to look like the Baltimore Ravens defense again. The secondary is still a little but, you know, the 2 linebackers that's roaming the middle of the field are laying people out. Mm-hmm. So, hey, man, you complete a pass, but guess what? You're going to pay for it dearly. So I think Baltimore is cooking with something. They really fixed those red zone problems they had against Tennessee. Like they were, like you just talked about, inside the 20s. They were getting down to the 5-yard line and having to kick field goals against the Tennessee Titans the week before when they were playing in London. And then in this week, I mean, it was over before it started. It was 28-0 after the first quarter. Like, I was so pumped about that game. I was like, oh, man, that's going to be the game of the week. The Lions and the Ravens, like, oh, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. And it came down to the first quarter. It was over. So, yeah, I think Baltimore, considering they got the best quarterback, considering the Steelers, goodness gracious, I don't think you can operate like they've been doing, winning games on defense to get to 11 wins is what's going to be needed to win the AFC North. The situation that's going on with the Browns with their star quarterback being injured and not playing, and playing injured and playing badly injured. And then the Cincinnati Bengals sitting at the bottom of the division. And I say bottom of the division, they're 3-3. They're right there at 500. But with them without a run game and literally going to have to win these games with Joe Burrow's right arm, I think they're not going to be able to do that. So I think Baltimore is going to lock this up very soon.
I think they're the division champs as of right now. And I want to do the whole, I need to see them play in January and all this, like I said earlier. But the bottom line is that's not fair. You could say that about the Chiefs. You know, if Patrick Mahomes is healthy all year, they're your champ. Obviously, any team can, their quarterback. I mean, we're watching with the Browns, Bengals fans experiencing it now. history the last couple of years has shown that Lamar has not been able to last the whole entire season, but that's the last 2 years. That has nothing to do with this season. So as of right now, based on everything we've seen to this point, yes, they're the best team and the most consistent team in the division, and they're beating good teams.
Yeah,
the Lions.
that's a good point.
The Lions aren't bad. I know they got blown out, and I don't think that's an indictment of who they are as a team. I don't think they're a fraud. I don't think they're fake. I think the Lions, whoever they have this week, they'll come out and kick their ass on Sunday. I think they're going to be fired up and angry. So who knows what's going to happen. The setback for the Lions, I don't think they're bad. I think the Ravens are just really, really good and experienced right now, and good for Monken, because people are starting to say, what the hell's the difference? Like, what are we doing here? So there's that. But
it seemed like they saved some plays. Like, they didn't run any zone read in that game. It was like, hey man, we're just gonna bootleg this thing and get you on the move, and then make them commit to you running, and then you just drop it off or throw a bomb. Like, it was actually innovative what they did.
You know what? No, I lied. I don't trust Baltimore. They're led by a Harbaugh. They're probably cheating. They are probably cheating, now that I think about it. All right, quickly, let's go through the NFC. And so, yes, Baltimore division. So we agree. Chiefs division winner, Baltimore division winner out of the North, Jacksonville division winner out of the South. I think we agreed with all those.
Yeah.
Everyone that's in Buffalo's, I think we just disagreed.
Yeah,
there.
I think Dolphins,
Yeah.
you think Buffalo. Yeah.
So there's that. All right, to the NFC we go. Let's start in the East. The Eagles, 6-1, sitting atop the NFC East right now. Of course, they defending NFC champs from last season, made it to the Super Bowl. They're 6-1, and they've played some ugly games. They have yet to play their best football. They have yet to play a pretty game, but they're 6-1, and they're the best record in the NFC at this point. Division champs, or are they just a placeholder?
Division champs. Their ugly isn't what Pittsburgh Steelers ugly was when they won that 11 games in a row to start the season off. They're still winning games, but it's just not as pretty as it was last year. They weren't thrashing teams like they were last year. They're still winning. And I think that win on Sunday Night Football versus the Dolphins was a pretty good win for them. But, you keep stacking these wins more and more and more, and then when other teams are scrambling to try to get into the playoffs and everything like that, you can go ahead and get healthy. So, yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East.
All right, on to the next one, on to the next division. Let's go to the South. The Atlanta Falcons are 4-3. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-3. The Saints 3-4, and the Panthers are 0-6. The Atlanta Falcons 4-3. Man, this is a division full of teams with deficiencies. My goodness. The Falcons, are they your division champs, or are they placeholder?
The Fighting Desmond Ritters. No, I still think the Saints are going to win this division because I think the Saints have the best overall team. I like what the Falcons do on defense. Offense is still a little wonky for me. There's too many peaks and valleys with the Buccaneers on offense. I think if Derek Carr can hit a receiver in the hands as opposed to the feet, they can win the division.
I'm going to say this goes back to my point earlier about the East and the AFC side. When all teams are equal, I go with the team with the best quarterback. And I like Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, but Baker is being Baker. One week he looks like Baker, and then the next week he looks like Baker. So I'm going to go with this. Look, you could say that, I'm seeing people come at the Saints with all their deficiencies. Every team in this division does. So
right.
I'm going to go, when things are all equal like this, I'm going to go with the team with the best quarterback. I'm going to say Derek Carr and the Saints will somehow, some way come out of that as far as that.
No Panthers, huh?
No Panthers. No Panthers. All right, the West, the San Francisco 49ers, they had won 15 straight regular season games, 5-0 to start the season. They were upset by the Browns, and then they followed it up with another loss this past weekend. Not sure what's going on in San Fran, but they do have a 1-game lead over the Seahawks at almost the halfway point of the season. NFC West, the Niners, are they your division champs or are they placeholders?
I still think the Niners are division champs when it's all said and done. I think this is going to be a little tighter than we all thought. Seahawks are still very good, but the 49ers, man, I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess we can kind of chalk the Browns game up to, hey man, it was travel and yada yada yada.
Without
whatever.
Debo.
Yeah, whatever excuse you want to use for the San Francisco 49ers. Never in a million years would I thought they were going to lose on Monday Night Football to the Minnesota Vikings, obviously without Justin Jefferson. I mean, we know the record of Kirk Cousins on primetime football. Well, he primetimed them last night. He threw some dimes out there to Jordan Addison, Debo and people for the football. They're without their Debo. So I still think ultimately they scratch out the NFC West, but I think it's going to be a lot tighter than we thought earlier in the season.
Yeah, I still think the Niners overall are going to come out on top, and only because the Seahawks, They're 4-2, but they didn't look good. Now, I'm not taking anything away against Cincy, but they got to the red zone, and they could not convert in the red zone at all. Now, maybe maybe the Bengals have this great red zone defense and need more games to see more proof of that as they play better teams, of course. Seahawks are a very good team. They are very explosive. They have explosive potential, but we just haven't seen it. So I'm going to say, yes, it's the Niners division to lose. The Rams are better than we thought. The Seahawks are still very solid. But barring any significant injuries to the Niners, I think it's going to take more than Debo being out for them to not win this division as far as that's concerned.
Shouts out to Jackson Smith and Jigba had his breakout game this past week for the Seahawks.
He had his breakout game, and then the other Buckeye receiver had to break out of jail.
Oh, man. Chris Olave. What's going on, bro?
70-35. What? I mean, it's like if you play in the NFL, it's like you have to speed everywhere. Why? I mean,
ridiculous.
You late for practice. What the heck's going on?
Ridiculous.
But, nonetheless. All right, last but not least, the NFC North, the Lions 5-2, the Vikings 3-4 behind them, the Packers and the Bears with 2 wins apiece. The Detroit Lions, they got smacked by the Ravens this past weekend, but they are your division leaders as we sit here right now. Are the Lions the NFC North division champs when it's all said and done, or are they a placeholder?
They're going to be the division champs. I see a lot of people jumping off their bandwagon since they got smacked by Baltimore, and then Minnesota was able to beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. So people are jumping right back to the Vikings. I still think the Lions have enough firepower. And look, man, people get smacked. It happens. It is what it is. And this isn't college football. You know what I'm saying? You get smacked like that in college football, you're written off, never to be heard from again. NFL, you get blown out. Guess what? You come back the next week and you probably doing the blowing out. So they'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, so the only thing I took away from that Ravens game is maybe the Lions are not as good as we thought, but they're still the best team in the NFC North as far as that's concerned. The Vikings, I said the Vikings were going to finish last in that division, and it looked like that was going to be the case to start the season. You know, they totally just gutted that defense. And, you know, they didn't look good offensively to start, but they're without Justin Jefferson, and they're still putting up heavy points. They have a very, very good tight end. Obviously, the receiver from Penn State that they got ended up, or not Penn State, USC transferred from Penn State, but they ended up getting, you know, he's a big-time playmaker. The Vikings are in a tough spot. I think they were counting on losing games. They were counting on being in last. They're in a weird spot. I think they were hoping to be in a position where they could justify moving on from Kirk Cousins, but how can you justify it when you just knocked off arguably the best team in football and you looked dominant doing it? And it's a recipe for success for them moving forward, especially because the fact that they've won back-to-back games. So
back-to-back.
Taking a winning streak into the trade deadline when you were rumored to move on from your quarterback, I don't think they're going to be able to do it now. Look out for the Vikings down the stretch. I think as talented as they are, though, I still think it's the Lions division to lose because they're the most well-rounded offense and defense. Vikings just have offense. All right, so Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, division leaders or placeholders. Agree, disagree? We'll discuss next. Addison went to Pitt. My bad. What did we say? USC? No, Kev said USC.
He did go to USC.
Addison went from Pitt to USC, not Penn State. I was going to say that didn't sound right when I said it, but yeah. Anyways, we'll be right back. Damn it.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
When I got the news, I was shocked.
I was scared. I was angry.
When I heard it could be treated with the right care, I was relieved.
I was happy. I was given a second chance.
Urology Specialists of Ohio offers men peace of mind. 5 physicians and 5 locations. Now accepting new patients. Make an appointment with a physician that cares about your health and prevention. Urology Specialists of Ohio, Beaver Creek, Springfield, Urbana, Xenia, and London. Online at urologyspecialistsofohio.com.
At SimpliSafe, our award-winning home security has advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Now get 45% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Exergen thermometers are the smart choice when selecting a thermometer. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Got a fever? Stay home. To detect fever accurately at home, you need a clinically accurate, fast, and non-invasive thermometer. The Exergen thermometer is backed by over 100 clinical studies. Accuracy matters. Be smart and safe. Measure accurately with Exergen thermometers. Available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Do you have an old sports program, baseball, photo, ticket, or game-used equipment just collecting dust? Sports Investments wants to buy your sports memorabilia. They're also interested in old sports cards and also buying political, aviation, and entertainment items. Bring your collectibles to Sports Investments and get a fair value on the spot. If you decide to sell, they'll pay you immediately. Sports Investments is the largest buyer of memorabilia and cards in the area since 1993. Sports Investments also feature the best selection of autographed memorabilia, sports cards, and other collectible items for sale, including all your favorites like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Bengals, the Browns, the Big Red Machine, UC, XU, UK, MKU, UD, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, just to name a few. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email adam@sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites.
Poking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun. Looking for some spooky entertainment? Join us at Poking Bowling Centers for a great night out with your family and friends. And check out the Spooktacular Laser Tag, now ready at Poking Woodman Lanes. It's Halloween fun for all. Visit PokingBowling.com or on Facebook for all the details to schedule your next Halloween bowling party. Let the good times roll at Poking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Poking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Poking Lanes South in Centerville on Kings Ridge Drive.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Update your home to make life easier with smart home products from Fight Electric. Always know who's at your door with a 1080p HD video doorbell. Receive alerts when motion is detected and see live video right on your phone from anywhere. Right now, pick up a 1080p HD video doorbell for just $49.97 after 11% off. Good through October 29th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cash back. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel is where you can watch Dayton's only local sports talk show. Hang out with Kinner and Kev weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for two to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
Did you know that Ohio's Move Over law applies to more than just emergency vehicles? Drivers should move over one lane and slow down for any stopped vehicle with flashing lights. That includes emergency vehicles, construction crews, utility vehicles, and tow trucks. Moving over keeps roadside workers safe, and it's the law. Move over, slow down, pay attention, save a life. Learn more about Ohio's Move Over law at moveover.ohio.gov.
Are you a business owner in need of financing? Then you need Swish Funding, the better way to get the funding you need. Our simple application process takes just minutes, with funding as soon as one business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $5,000 to $5 million. If you've been in business for 1 year and have monthly revenue of at least $25,000, you could get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. At swishfunding.com. That's SWISH funding.com.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. With kids back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Make Exergen thermometer the chosen thermometer for your home or business to check for fever, where accuracy matters. When measuring temperature at home and at work, use an Exergen thermometer to keep your family and colleagues safe. Available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
All right, and we are back. It's the Kinner Kev Show, 1410 Wing AM. Ryan Day, Kev just asked about the Jim Harbaugh situation. What was his response?
Not going to talk about that.
Smart move.
On to Wisconsin.
On to Wisconsin. That's how you do it right there. You know, the thing that's interesting about that is I'm seeing a lot of Michigan fans get angry and say, oh, yeah, like, I wonder who's the whistleblower. I don't care if it is Ryan Day. Like, if it is Ryan Day, Kev, I really don't care who the whistleblower is. And I know you were listening to some stuff from Brady Quinn and others. Like, and Brady Quinn's doing the same thing. Brady Quinn, you know, doing the whole, well, everyone else is doing. Why is that a defense? That is not a defense. And if anything, you have all these other teams saying, hey, Brady, if you could just be quiet, that'd be great. Like, you know, and by the way, that's why you're getting a lot of these coach speak answers is because a lot of these teams know, well, we do some of that. I'm not getting back into this last thing. I think Michigan just took it to a whole other level. I think this was just a thought out scheme. I don't think other teams are scheming to this degree. And if they are, they haven't got caught. So, you know, Michigan, your biggest problem is, you know, and stop making it about sign stealing. Sign stealing is the end result of what has led to them getting in trouble, which was how they went about getting the signs. But yeah, Ryan Day, no comment. That's how you should do it.
It's crazy how many people are defending this versus nobody from baseball defending what the Houston Astros did. Everybody in baseball that talked about the Houston Astros was like, yeah, that's cheating. You can't do that. But in college football, like, oh, well, everybody does it. Okay, man.
Yep.
Not like this. Not like
to that degree. Nope. Absolutely. But Ryan Day was asked about a health update. Again, Ohio State was able to get through Penn State without Trevion Henderson, without Emeka Egbuka, without Denzel Burke. Ryan Day is optimistic, though, that Trevion Henderson, Egbuka, and Denzel Burke will be able to play against Wisconsin coming up this Saturday night, saying that he expects them to have a really good week of practice. Whatever. Well, you know, this is having Jackson Smith and Jigba flashbacks. By the way, like, I saw people today, and I get annoyed with Ohio State of how they do this, but they're not doing anything wrong. It's how every team handles it. But I am tired of this. Like, it does lead to a lot of angst and just like, we're hoping that they have a good week of. It's like, I know you can't come out and say they're for sure playing, but like, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but it irritates the hell out of me. Like, I do think, I don't know if they owe the fans anything, but like, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer
Eventually,
is.
college sports is gonna have to have an injury report just like they do in the NBA and NFL because of gambling. Eventually, we'll get there, and I'm thinking we're going to get there probably in the next 2 years.
Oh Jesus, here we go.
No, man, no.
Nope, just ignore him.
You said we was going to talk about a certain sport.
Dusty Baker, is he done? Is he done? That's the big question. No, I'm just joking. Shaw, take your crying to another show. We ain't doing that. At least not now. This second. What is a scout? We're not doing that. All right, so the NBA tips off tonight because
no.
He has my blood pressure up. He almost got me. That's why you're good now. NBA tips off tonight. My question is when the hell did the offseason start? What the hell happened? The NBA offseason I always feel like is very, very long. I feel like this is one of the, and by the way, it's the same amount of time. No, they started the season like a week or two earlier because of that, to add the more rest days. But tonight the season tips up. But I'm like, seriously, where the hell did the offseason go?
Just like that. As quick as the summer went.
So news that came out yesterday, a 3-year mega deal extension. I think with Giannis Antetokounmpo going to be making $63 million a year. I actually love that type of contract. I think that I would like to think you'd see more of that in the NBA. I don't like when players marry teams long term because it rarely does the player and the team get to the end of that contract without there being some kind of dispute. I think 2 to 3 year contracts. Now, again, players want those 10-year deals. They want those guaranteed deals. They want the job security type stuff. But the thing is, a ton of guaranteed money is a part of this Giannis deal. But Giannis, I love the way Giannis has approached his time in Milwaukee. We get mad at the Durants when they leave. We get mad at the LeBrons when they leave because we just assume that they're going to be, faithful, right? They're going to be loyal, whatever. Giannis has basically let everyone know. This is what I love about what Giannis has done. And I wonder if other athletes are going to follow his lead. He has let it be known publicly over as long as we are competitive, as long as we are in the hunt to win championships, I'm not going anywhere. And that's the assumption that we have about LeBron and others. And that's fine. But like what teams do is I thought we were fine. I thought we were building towards something. But no, he has let it be known that, hey, just so you know, Milwaukee fans, if I leave, it's because my organization did not do what they were supposed to, and that was make us competitive. They just went out. It's not a coincidence that he signs his mega extension. They just went out and they got him a nice little, little help. They got some help. They got obviously in Dame Lillard.
31 points a game.
I wish more athletes were like Giannis as far as just being very open in the media, because you can't say, "Oh no, it's my business. It's no one else's." Trust me, nothing is anyone's. It's everyone's business now. Everyone talks about it all the time. If you're going to make a trade demand, everyone's business. Then this has to be, set the expectations. What's your expectation coming here? It's to win championships. And if we're not in position to win championships, then I'm not going to be here very long. I like the 3-year deal. It puts pressure on Milwaukee to make a lot of moves to win in this next 3-year window and then reset it. And if he leaves in 3 years, hey, he gave you 3 years to do it. You guys did it. You've already won one. I love the way he's approached this, and I love that Milwaukee got a deal done with him, and there's no drama in Milwaukee as far as that's concerned.
Absolutely. You want it quiet. You got a rookie head coach and Adrian Griffin. But one thing I will say about this, it is a lot easier to say, yeah, I'll take a 3-year deal that's going to pay me $60 million a season. The reason guys were taking those long-term deals before is because the money was so crazy then. But now you can get a crazy contract for less years as well. So, like, in his mind, like, well, why would I sign a 5-year contract for the same amount of money where I could just sign a shorter one? The way things are structured now, you're able to do that. So I don't really knock the guys for signing like the 3+1s or the 4+1 deals before, because that was the way you were going to get that long money. The way things are structured now is like, okay, you can get big money with a shorter contract now. So it's kudos to him, but it's also kudos to, the NBA Players Union for structuring deals like that they're able to get those type of deals now.
Tonight, rematch of the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if there's a badge of honor in this, but the most competitive sweep in the history of the NBA. The Lakers got swept by the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals last year in what was, I can't recall of a series sweep like that was competitive literally in every single game. It came down to the final minute in every single game. Lakers Nuggets tonight. This has been interesting, especially in the NBA. The big knock is that all the players are friends and everyone's friendly and all this. Well, the Nuggets coach, doesn't like the Lakers. He attacked the media. He attacked everyone because he didn't feel they were getting their respect, which I'm all for. Thought at times he came across a little goofy, but you know what? I like that. I like that, creating that angst, creating that us against them, whatever. Do what you got to do. But it does seem like this Lakers-Nuggets series or this matchup, there's a little mini rivalry growing right there. But the Lakers, you know how to make that a rivalry. You got to win tonight. You can't lose for the 5th straight time against this team and then try to convince us that it's a rivalry. The Lakers have championship aspirations, and I think for us to buy in, they got to get a win tonight. As weird as it sounds,
man,
1 of 82.
1 of 82.
But this is, by the way, this is the healthiest you're going to be. There's no damn excuse. I get sometimes when they lose throughout the regular season, LeBron's banged up, your AD's never healthy. This is the healthiest that the Lakers will be the rest of the season. If you can't win tonight, you're not beating them in a series come June.
Lakers not only win tonight, they win big tonight.
Damn.
Ring ceremonies, 9 times out of 10, when teams raise the banner from the championship year before, they get all the love, and it starts like 2 hours before the game actually starts, and then they get all the hugs and kisses. They get the rings. They're dapping up the players. The wives and kids are there, yada, yada. Oh, we still got to play a basketball game while the other team is in the locker room and being the team that they beat in the Western Conference Finals. They're ready. And I think the Lakers win big tonight.
Yeah, Lakers are a 5-point dog, by the way. Denver at home. But you're right about that ring ceremony. A lot of times there's such an emotionally charged environment before. You're not like when they're warming up for the game, they're not like right now. Denver is like excited for the ring ceremony. They're making sure all their families in town. They're making sure their families getting their tickets. They're making sure that the family's being taken care of. They're showing up to the arena. There's a celebration vibe there. It's not a get ready for a big game type of vibe. So I don't know if the Lakers win big, but I think that the Lakers come out with the win. I think you're going to get a super motivated LeBron James tonight. To be fair, he comes out motivated pretty much every night, but I think more so tonight than anything. And I am curious, too, how much of Anthony Davis' struggles over the last couple of years of not knowing what his fate in LA is going to be. Every time he'll have a good stretch, they say, oh, he can't stay healthy. Then he stays healthy for 2 straight months, and then he's rewarded by what? The media is saying, trade him. His value will never be higher. Well, the Lakers, to their credit, I don't know if it's smart or not, but to their credit, to put an end to those talks of him being traded, they gave him that mass extension. And I think he was the highest paid player in the league until Giannis just got this deal done or whatever it is. I wonder how much improved he's going to be just because now he is mentally as locked in as possible because he knows that the Lakers are locked into him. And of course, it's going to come down to can he stay healthy. But I'm wondering how much of an impact that can have, that big contract that I forgot about until, reading up on it earlier. They married him long term, so we'll see if that has an impact on him mentally preparing for the year.
As they should have. I mean, people got to think, man, they made the playoffs. They get a lot of credit for the trades that they made, getting guys on that roster. But when LeBron got hurt after he broke the all-time scoring record, it was Anthony Davis who held it down. It was Anthony Davis who they ran the offense through. It was Anthony Davis who they ran the defense through. Anthony Davis is still one of the best defensive players in this league. He can guard guards. He can obviously guard bigs and everything like that. So, I can't sit here. I have this ongoing joke. I'm not a Devin Booker guy, but I know Devin Booker's a dog. I'm not an AD guy, but I know AD is a dog. I make fun of AD just like everybody else from when he gets hurt. But guess what? When he plays, 9 times out of 10, he's going to do something amazing on the basketball court. And what he can do on the basketball court is not only score, but play defense, something a lot of guys don't do in this league still. So Anthony Davis is perfectly fine.
Tonight, I think either one of these 2 matchups could be a Western Conference Finals matchup. I think that the Suns and Warriors are game 2. The Warriors champions 2 years ago. They were in the hunt last season, of course, but the Warriors 2.5-point favorites against a team that everyone's about the Lakers. Everyone's talking about Denver, the defending champions. Obviously, Golden State still has Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. It could be the last dance for them this year.
Chris Paul.
That
CP3.
That's not a bad addition. I just don't know if that moves them as far as being a lock to win anything as far as that's concerned. But the Suns, that probably should be the team. Now, I know they're without Booker tonight?
No.
Beal. They're without
Bradley
Beal.
Beal.
So this is a team that has Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. If we weren't talking about the Nuggets winning the title, if we weren't talking about everything the Lakers have done, the Warriors have Steph Curry, the Suns are the team that everyone, I think, should be still kind of keeping an eye on.
Ain't none of them better than Joker.
Ain't
none of them dudes better than Joker.
Only as good as some of your parts.
Joker. And Booker and Murray, dead even. I'm taking Joker over all them dudes. The biggest story coming out of that Suns-Warriors game is they're going to be retiring Kevin Durant's jersey tonight in Golden State. What are your thoughts?
He's a superstar player. I have no problem with that. And he was MVP of what, multiple finals? Was he multiple
Mhm.
MVP of both? Yeah,
Twice.
I'm fine with that. Me and you defer on the Derek Fishers and the Robert Ory's and those guys, but we just defer on like how to honor those types of players. I don't mind that, but we're getting at that stage now where it's tough. You don't get all the emotional vibes
Right.
now. Derek Fisher and Robert Ory, though, when you think of them, you think of the Lakers.
Right.
I don't know when I think of Kevin Durant. I don't know if I think of the Warriors right away, but I don't know. I don't think of the Thunder. I don't know really what the hell I think of because there's so much player movement now. It's hard to associate this player with this. Like LeBron, still a Cavalier to me, even though he's won the most championships with the Heat. He's won the same amount of championships with the Lakers as he did with the Cavs. I still think Cleveland with him. But it is interesting how that's going to be a thing of the past now where we're not going to associate this player with this team. You think of Michael, you think of the Bulls. Now that's not the case anymore. But why did you ask that?
I just what you said is 100% correct. Two-time MVP of the finals, got them over the hump versus the Cavs, dominant team. Possibly could have won 3 with the Warriors if he didn't blow his Achilles and everything like that. But I just like, did he quote unquote do enough? And I mean, I'm probably being way too hard because I mean they won 2 finals. I mean, that's a lot.
And they probably would have won 3 if he doesn't go down.
Yeah. So like
I
guess I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to get to the point where like, oh man, let's retire Kevin Durant's jersey in Brooklyn. Let's retire. Yeah, I just that's gonna be OD for me. Like, this is gonna happen eventually. LeBron James is obviously gonna get his jersey retired with the Cavs, the Heat, and I guess the Lakers. And my buddy brought up to my attention, like, well, he's been with the Lakers longer than he was with the Heat.
And he's won one less title.
And I was like,
he set the scoring record.
Yeah. And also it's like, you also got to think, man, the Lakers, they will look for any reason to claim something.
They talked about, last year there was the talk of the statue.
Yeah, like
the statue.
Like the Lakers are like a college football fan base. The Yankees are like a college football fan base. Those are the type of fans that these teams have. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a knock on Lakers fans or Yankees fans or whatever. They're super passionate. They are like Ohio State fans. They are like Alabama fans. They are like Michigan fans. Like, though they have allegiance to their team like that, there won't be a Los Angeles Laker. Like, nobody from the Lakers were rooting for the Miami Heat when Shaq went from the Lakers to the Heat. They're loyal to the Lakers. Now, you know what I'm saying, with you, like, hey, man, you still root for the Cavs, but like, hey, man, where LeBron goes is where I go. And that's how it's built. I mean, shoot, look at me. Where Dame goes is where I go. I went from watching a lot of Portland games, won't have to stay up till God knows what time to watch them play no more because he's playing with the Bucks. So they're, I won't say unique, but like they are a fan base for that team, which should be refreshing.
And LeBron's different too, because LeBron meant so much to so many people because of his Ohio, being from just a kid from Akron, wherever the hell he said he was from. Where did he say kid from Akron? Is that how he was? Yeah, kid from. So
just a grown ass
Ohio
man
kid,
from Akron.
We watched him in high school. We watched him at state tournament. I remember from where I'm from, he played like I'm from Van Wert, so watching them play Wayne Trace and Ottawa Glandorf, and it was like, these little farm towns, you don't see teams like Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's, where I'm from. So that was like a huge deal. He was of course he was larger than life to everybody. It didn't matter, but like, so there's that. That's why I follow him from team to team. I don't really have outside of him. God, who's my second favorite player in the league? I mean, this Wembanyama guy is pretty fascinating.
I think Giannis is your second favorite player. You like Giannis.
I like the name. No. Giannis, I like just because, I mean, I don't know. I like a lot of players in the league. I mean, I like Steph Curry. I mean, but I don't know. The connection with LeBron's just different because he's from Ohio. But Steph's from Cleveland. So, maybe that's what it is.
He is from Charlotte. Born in Akron. He is from Charlotte.
So, but interesting nonetheless. But no, Kevin Durant, though, at least he won multiple championships, multiple finals MVPs. Right. Do you consider him the best player on that team during his stretch there?
Yeah.
More than Curry?
Yes.
Okay. Then yes, I'm surprised that you are giving as much pushback.
I'm not trying to give pushback. I just feel a type of way. I'm just like, everything that you're saying, and I'm sure that my buddies are going to tell me when I take my podcast later on tonight. You probably can't make this up podcast. Follow it everywhere. You get your podcast. Shouts out to A Dizzle. Shouts out to DJ Killer Kev. We'll tape it tonight at 7:00. We're going to go live on Facebook as well if you want to check it out. But anyway, Dizzle's definitely going to bring up all these points, and both of you are 99.9% right. It's just like, I don't know. And because obviously he has to get his jersey retired somewhere, they're surely not going to do it at OKC. So I guess it would have to be Golden State.
I think they will do it at OKC.
Hell no.
Like, not, but
never.
Really?
No way.
He didn't leave on that bad of terms, did he?
No way. Russ is going to get his. As long as whoever is the ownership group, long as it's still in that family, no way.
Did they leave on bad terms? That's the only reason I'm at is
I won't necessarily say bad terms, but like the fan base. I mean, fan bases do control a lot what teams do.
So like the Cavs with this, and it's weird because I love that Cavs team, but like when I hear about the Anderson Varejãos, like, come on. Like, really? In Zydrunas Ilgauskas? Who I love Big Z.
Baby, Big
I
Z.
love Big Z. But, like, retiring Big Z's jersey?
Absolutely retire Big Z's jersey.
Woo!
Absolutely. Now, Big
So
Andy,
you're fine with retiring Z's jersey. But,
Yes.
But Kevin Durant, oh, no. He won finals MVP. All right, no.
But like you said, who do you associate
That's his
with?
team. You're right.
Like Big Z was with the Cavs, like when Sean Kemp was there.
Yep.
Like when they had the white jerseys with the blue
Ricky
stripe.
Davis, baby.
Yeah, like he was with them then.
Darius Miles?
Yeah, like he was with the team then. So when you think of Big Z, you do think of the
that's
Cavs.
okay.
So like that's kind of like how I think of it. Like another player out there is Carmelo Anthony. He's not going to get his jersey retired by the Denver Nuggets, obviously, because him and Joker wear the same number, which is 15. But prior to Joker, he was the best player in their franchise history. He was the all-time leading scorer in their franchise history. They left on bad terms. They will not be retiring Carmelo Anthony's jersey, regardless if Joker would have came there and picked number 15 or not. Now, did he do enough, quote unquote, to get his number retired with the Knicks? I don't think so, but he's definitely going to get his number retired with the Knicks one day.
Did Denver retire AI's number?
No.
Will they?
Hell no.
Really?
He was there 2 weeks.
So the only difference, he was there longer,
It was
wasn't he?
like 2 years.
I'm not fact checking you, but I'm just looking.
No, go for it. I'm almost positive.
I
it was
just
2
felt like
years.
I thought the AI Kenyon Martin Carmelo run was not like long, but I didn't think it was that short.
No, because they
not
end
fact
up
checking you. I'm just
no, you good. I'm almost positive it was 2 years because they traded for him mid-season. They whatever they did, and then a season after that.
So 3
years. They like a midway season
2.
trade.
He played on only 3 games in 08-09.
Yeah, and then
okay.
So I can't remember exactly what they did.
Oh,
yeah, because he got
okay.
traded, and they traded for Chauncey Billups from Detroit.
Okay.
And then that's when they went to the Western Conference Finals.
Interesting. I just felt like that was a longer because George Karl was obviously there, Birdman, all that,
Yeah.
stuff. So nonetheless, but either way, all right. We'll step away for a few moments. When we come back, want to talk about. So this is going to be a fun NBA season because of the fact that, well, there's 2 Dayton Flyers kind of floating around the league. We know that one Flyer is going to get significant minutes, but what about the other Flyer that's kind of hanging out on the West Coast? Obi Toppin with the Pacers. We'll talk about the other Dayton Flyer. What can we expect from him over in Portland? Tumani Kamara. We'll get to that when we come back. Plus our conversation, if you missed it, with Dan. I almost called him Dan Hope a little bit ago, but we'll get to our conversation with him from ESPN, of course, talking about the scandal going on in Michigan. That's all coming up next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, mostly cloudy, 58 tonight, clouds and 73 Wednesday, and partly sunny and 75 Thursday. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, Greg McAfee here for McAfee Heating and Air. Dayton and the Miami Valley enjoy buying products made in the USA. Unfortunately, many HVAC products are now made in the communist country of China, and that's where the profits go too. McAfee systems come from the states of Indiana, South Carolina, Iowa, and Texas, and we're proud of it. 32 years strong, Get an estimate online at mcair.com.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent paid benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hi, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and to repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cash back. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
Have a hot take of your own that you're just dying to get off your chest? Text or call the ESPN Dayton hotline at 937-518-1410. That's how you can be a part of our local shows throughout the week, like the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays at 3 p.m., and the Keith Byers Show, Mondays at noon. Call or text the shows at 937-518-1410.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All right, we are back and rolling here. Kev, so we talked a little NBA. The season tips off tonight. That's just wild. But
Thank goodness.
The thing that's interesting, though, so Obi Toppin traded to the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers, they'll kick off their season tomorrow night. They got Washington in town. What's the ceiling for Obi with the Pacers?
Opportunity is aplenty out there. The opportunities that he wasn't going to get with the Knicks. I mean, Julius Randle was an all-star. Tibbs demands that you play excellent defense, something that Obi struggled with in the NBA. And he played his main guys big minutes. So I'm expecting Obi to get at least 25 minutes a game. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting for the Pacers, but the Pacers are a pretty young team, and they're going to be a team that runs. So he's going to be able to get back to his high-flying days. I mean, he was doing the between-the-legs dunks in preseason games and everything like that. So I'm expecting big things from Obi this upcoming season with the Pacers.
As a Steelers fan, you've been disqualified from using any kind of preseason.
You know what? You are absolutely correct. Shouts out to DTR, too.
Just throwing that out there. Oofa. Oofa. So Obi Toppin, during his time with the New York Knicks, 3 seasons in New York, averaged just under 15 minutes per game. I remember the night he was drafted, and I got a lot of pushback because everyone said, you know what? I mean, we were having Flyer fans call in to say he was going to average 20 a game and all this stuff. I said, no, he ain't even going to average 10 a game. So he can average around 8-9 points a game. I said he wouldn't average double digits. I said he averaged a couple rebounds a game, maybe an assist or two. Now you disagree. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the whole I was right thing. I just
go for it. You was right.
However, I was not right. I was right, but I wasn't.
No, you were right.
I was right because that's what the numbers were, but it wasn't because of talent restrictions. It was because of coaching restrictions. I think, okay, he gets 25 to 30 minutes a game. What's his ceiling?
Oh,
I think 15 to 16 a game.
That's 15 and 7 a game.
So, and I think that's what ends up happening as far as that's concerned. I think he's going to have a long NBA career. I think he's going to be a main contributor to the Pacers for many, many years. I don't think he's going to be an all-star. Do you see an all-star in his future?
I don't see an all-star appearance. I mean, Therese Halliburton is the all-star on that team. He's going to be the guy controlling everything. You know how NBA is now. It's a high pick and roll type of situation. So the ball's going to be in his hands a lot. But Obi is a great finisher. And that's what they're going to be looking to do. They're going to be playing a high pick and roll, a dive to the rim and dunking on somebody's head, or a flash to the corner and shoot a 3. And he's definitely worked on the 3-point shot.
It's interesting. I remember Obi when he won National Player of the Year at UD. I remember saying that the only reason he won Player of the Year is because he could dunk. Now, people got mad at me for that, but I remember saying that if he had the same exact amount of points at UD, but none of them were dunks and they were just all layups, I felt he doesn't win National Player of the Year. I felt like the flair to his game allowed him to be elevated to that status. By the way, not saying he was a good player. My gosh, that's not even close to what I'm saying. I'm just saying that his electric style of play, 2 points is not just 2 points. 2 points on a pick and roll and just, a slip to the bucket and an easy layup. That's great. Average same amount of points at Dayton that, he did. But if you replace all his dunks with layups, I don't think he wins National Player of the Year. I just don't. That's why I think that he does at least have one all-star season in him. Whether it's a reserve or not, doesn't care. I'm not going to disqualify him for that. I think that because he's an exciting player, because he does between the legs dunks in the middle of regular season games, and it's not just in garbage time at the end. I think he'll make an all-star appearance for the Pacers. I don't know if it'll be this year or not. Maybe it will be this year because it'll be the first time everyone gets to see a lot of him.
Right.
But I think you're going to see. So the reason I brought up that dunking thing, I think because he's an exciting player and he's a highlight film, I think that's why he has at least an all-star up his sleeve at least once before his time in Indy comes to an end. Could be wrong. You know me. I'm a big Dayton homer. Flyers this, Flyers that. So,
the NBA All-Star game is in Indianapolis this year. I will be in the building this year, hanging out there. Definitely going to the dunk contest. So hopefully he'll participate in the dunk contest as well.
So there's that.
Hey, man. Hey, can I get some tickets? Can we call in a favor to give me some tickets to the actual game?
I don't
think
somebody. No.
Oh,
I'm about to. Nope.
No, don't say it. I saw it in your eyes. Maybe we can do the show from out there.
Maybe for Big Ten. We'll just call our friends at the Big Ten Media Day. We'll bring Shaw. Shaw will just cry the whole time. Oh, the Big Ten's out to get my team. I just wish my team could cheat and get away with it. No. So let's talk about the other Dayton Flyer that's in the NBA. Tumani Kamara. I don't know. I don't know what his role. I mean, he's starting out in the roster. He's going to play. But I am fascinated to see what ends. They just have a backlog of bigs, so that's why I'm really curious to see how much of an opportunity. He looked really good in preseason, though. Every report I read about him was that he was, a lot of people thought very highly of him, his athletic ability and everything, that his game translates to the NBA real well.
Did you ever take the time to watch the Houston Rockets play last year?
No.
Good, because they were absolutely horrible. That's how the Portland Trail Blazers are going to be this
upcoming season. That's a good thing for Kamara.
Absolutely. The Rockets played a lot of people. Hey, everybody got equal minutes on those teams because they were just trying to basically, get a whole bunch of quote-unquote NBA reps. So he's going to get minutes. They're going to be terrible. They're going to lose a lot of games. They'll surprise a game here or there. But, what they're trying to do in Portland, they're trying to be like OKC this year. OKC this year is loaded to bear because they had all their young guys playing a whole bunch of minutes and they were getting thrashed by 20 and 40 points. And then they're only losing by 15. Then they're only losing by 5. And then they're winning close games. This year is going to be the blow up year for the OKC Thunder. So in 3 or 4 years, that's where Portland is going to be. Is Kamara still going to be on the team? We shall see.
Either way, it's still fun to see. I still don't understand how Dayton has had all these high-level players and really nothing to show for it from the college level. However, it is fun when you watch the league to see these guys kind of sprinkled throughout the league. And we're obviously, by the way, I watched that Ohio State Dayton exhibition game. Man, he put on some muscle. He put on, talking, of course, about Deron Holmes.
Dude, been working out with me, man.
And by the way, he knocked down his first couple threes. That Enoch Cheeks kid they got from Robert Morris. Now all of a sudden the Horizon League is good enough to go, and now the Horizon League is good enough to go get, I'm just saying. But Enoch Cheeks, it was the Enoch Cheeks show.
Howard Smith.
He was okay. Who, Malachi?
Yeah.
Look, Flyer fans love him. I don't dislike him, but I don't. If Scoochie wasn't his brother, I don't think people are as much in love with that kid as what everyone else is. I think he's okay. He's solid. But I don't think he's as good as what everyone makes him out to be. It's not a shot. It's just the reality of it. If his brother wasn't Scoochie, I don't think we talk about him as much as what people in the area do.
He is the key to the team.
He
is the key. He has to be good.
So he has to be good?
He has to be good.
Okay.
He has to be good. And I'm not talking like, oh, man, he's stuffing the stat sheets and everything like that. He's going to have to be a good, quote-unquote, traditional point guard. Set things up, get people where they're supposed to be, throw the alley-oops, make the correct pass, no turnovers. Yeah. If he's Jalen Crutcher, they're going places.
Actually, no. Jalen Crutcher could score, but Jalen Crutcher didn't get – because he could score, I don't think he got enough credit for driving the bus the way that he did. because Jalen Crutcher put Mike Saw and Landers and
Yes.
put Obi and all the everyone thrived because of Crutcher, but we were distracted by his scoring ability and his slashing to the bucket and stuff. Malachi's not that. But
I don't
Malachi,
need you to score. I need you to do the traditional point guard stuff. You do all that. You stir the drink. You get people where they need to go. You get them easy shots. You get them the ball. You run the offense. They will be perfectly fine. Now, if he turns into Jalen Crutcher, they're going to the Final Four.
Of the A-10 tournament.
I mean, that means he would grow like 3 inches. And
I'm just like, Wright State had a Malachi Smith a few years ago. He won rookie of the year, freshman of the year, and then he went on to win all conference at Chattanooga.
Yeah,
and then he played
Gonzaga.
And he was really good at Gonzaga, and I think he's actually playing on the G League. He played on the preseason team and the G League team with Chumani Kamara.
Nice
over there. So nonetheless, that was the best Malachi Smith he's played with. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just it's not.
He just can't help it.
But it's a fact. It truly is a fact that people can get mad at that all they want. That's fine. But no, nonetheless. So. By the way, last thing on this too, and I wish I could pull this up. Now I can't find it. So Matt Norlander with the CBS Sports puts out his top 100 teams heading into the college basketball season every year.
Cuse.
And he put that out, and Wright State and Dayton coming in on that. I thought that was pretty cool. But Wright State coming in the top 100, but just talked about the fact that, he called him, this is a great label for Tanner Holden, a boomerang player. The boomerang player, because
okay,
he came right back. I like that. A boomerang player, but getting a 20-point per game score back to pair with obviously the Horizon Lake preseason player of the year. With their point guard Trey Calvin, of course. Then you have Brandon Knoll, Wright State. He has them favored to win that league, favored to get back to the NCAA tournament for the third time since Nagy got there in 2016. So Wright State has a lot of eyes on them too. The Miami Valley is going to be well covered. Attention-wise, as far as that goes, and expectations and all that fun stuff.
Trey Calvin, best point guard in the state that doesn't play in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I got destroyed last year for saying that. But that's why I said, hey, I don't think people would be as defensive of Malachi if his brother wasn't such a big fan favorite. Malachi's really, really good at being an old school point guard, but sometimes we chalked it up as just if he's not flashy, he's not good. Malachi's very good, but Trey Calvin, he's flashy and really good, and he's clutch, and he could shoot the three, and he can play defense. So I just can't wait for the hoop season to finally get here. That's for sure. All right, that wraps it up. Oh, no, it does not. Well, technically, Kevin and I were stepping away to the side. If you missed our conversation with Dan Murphy, there we go. I call him Dan Hope multiple times from 11 Warriors. Dan Murphy with ESPN came on a little bit ago to kind of give us. So me and Kevin, we've given our opinion ad nauseum about our thoughts on everything going on at Michigan. Who cares what we think? The thing is that I think is most interesting is how is this investigation unfolding? Michigan fans keep chalking everything up to the fact that, you know what? It's just them out to get. That's not the case. I know Dan Murphy. Dan Murphy is not spending his entire life trying to take down the Michigan Wolverines. He is reporting the information that he is getting throughout his investigation. Stop with that nonsense. That is definitely not the case. Dan Murphy, good stuff from him earlier. I like the question you asked him as far as how did you word it, Kev? What's the outcome of this investigation? What's the worst scenario for Michigan possible coming out? I thought that,
Yeah, and like from 0 to 10, how serious is this? And he said it's pretty serious. I mean, like, this has never been found out before, like to this extent.
Yep.
With the tickets and the taping and the photographs and stuff like that, it gets deep.
Yep. So when Shaw says it's just them scouting, no, because Shaw said a little bit ago, well, then what's a scout? 11.6.1. I don't care what your definition of a scout is. 11.6.1. That is the bylaw that was violated to the extreme. I don't care if it's silly or not. Like, I think stop signs, when when no cars are coming, no kids around, I roll through those stop signs. I roll through them. But if I get caught, I'm not going to say, well, it's a stupid stop sign, officer. I think it's a dumb stop sign. So therefore, I'm never going to stop at that stop sign. Guess what? I'm going to be held accountable for it. That's what Michigan's doing. It's a stupid rule. We're going to break it. Doesn't matter. Rules are the rules. Dan Murphy, next.
Never-ending story.
No, and we appreciate that as show hosts.
True that.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Read Across America isn't just a one-week campaign in the spring. It's important to celebrate our nation of diverse readers and help support a lifelong love of reading for all our young readers, all year round. Take some time to read with the children in your life and enjoy diverse books that help them see themselves and the world around them in new ways.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through December 30th.